Beautiful night here in Orchard Park, New York. 86 degrees at kickoff. A warm one indeed as the Bills get ready to host the Steelers week 3 for Chan Gailey's squad. And this week they've practiced basically like a normal week they would during the season, preparing a little scouting report and those type of things. And then there's Mike Tomlin in his 6th season as a head coach for the Steelers. He's brought the Steelers to 2 Super Bowls, winning one of them in his tenure.
I attended a couple of Bills practices this week, and I'll tell you what, on Thursday they looked really sharp, better than I've seen them look all preseason. I mean, they seemed into it. They were crisp. You never saw the football hit the ground in passing drills. I mean, they had really picked it up in preparation for this game.
Potter set to kick off. Chris Rainey and Jonathan Dwyer deep for the Steelers, and it doesn't matter. And John Potter now 7 for 7 in touchbacks so far in his career as a Buffalo Bill in the preseason. So the Steelers come out 1st and 10 from their own 20. Ben Roethlisberger is the quarterback. So far in preseason, Roethlisberger is 12 of 17 for 130 yards. He's got 1 touchdown pass and 1 interception as the Steelers are 1-1, having lost their first game to Philadelphia by a point, and then they beat Indianapolis last week by 2 on a last-second field goal. 1st and 10. Isaac Redman is the back, but it's a pass, and that one is just dropped by Antonio Brown right in front of Stephon Gilmore. Quick little toss out there, and Brown just dropped it. Pittsburgh Steeler offense brought to you by Fichte, Endel, and Elmer. See up front, Starks, Cologne, Pouncey, Foster, and Gilbert. Backs and receivers. Redman is getting the start as the tailback. Heath Miller, the tight end. The aforementioned Brown and Emmanuel Sanders are the receivers for Pittsburgh. Rashard Mendenhall, usually the Steelers starting running back, has been taken off the PUP list, but he's still out, having torn an ACL on January 1st of last season. This pass outside quick, caught by Kochery, but he is knocked out of bounds immediately by Leotis McKelvin. Let's take a look at this Bills defense tonight, brought to you by Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, the official coffee of the Buffalo Bills. And Kelsey is getting the start tonight for Mark Anderson. And then the linebackers, Moats and Barnett on the outside, Shepard in the middle. And in the defensive backfield, Aaron Williams, George Wilson, Jarris Byrd, and Stephon Gilmore, number 1 draft pick.
The Steelers came out and had a few short passes just trying to get their feet under them. One was dropped right off the bat. Now they're in a 3rd and long after the quick tackle by Leotis McKelvin, but just trying to get some rhythm early on with a couple of easy completions.
3-man rush for Buffalo. Roethlisberger is going to be sacked. Looked like Kyle Williams tripped him, and Mario Williams fell on top of him.
Well, one of the things the Steelers have struggled with has been their offensive line play, certainly all of last year. And one of the big upgrades for the Buffalo Bills has been their defensive line. Kyle Williams indeed flushes Ben Roethlisberger away, and Mario Williams is right there. And that's going to be a common theme, hopefully, for the Bills this season.
Butler punts it to McKelvin. He takes it on his own 32. Gets the edge. Makes another man miss. Tight roping the sideline, gets past midfield on this return. Actually, they'll mark it right at midfield, and that's where the Bills will initiate this drive. An 18-yard return by Leotis McKelvin.
Yeah, some of the Steelers are thinking Leotis McKelvin stepped out about the 42. Mike Tomlin is one of them. The referees are not having any of it. That ball got out to the midfield. That was a great return by McKelvin. One of the things a great returner does, Ray, is he starts up the field and then makes his move. He makes the coverage team think he's going to come right at him, and they start to slow up or kind of stand up and
suck inside a little bit.
That's right, come right towards him, and then he bounces outside, and that was perfectly executed by the Bills special team.
Saw the numbers on Ryan Fitzpatrick as he starts under center. A balanced formation for Buffalo. 1st and 10, their initial possession. Quick pass outside. That one is complete to Stevie Johnson, and Johnson picks up 8 on the play. The Bills offense is brought to you by Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, the official coffee of the Buffalo Bills. And there's that offensive line. Urbic is actually getting the start tonight. As you see, Cordy Glenn, the rookie.
Chris Hairston in for Eric Pierce, who's injured.
Fred Jackson and Donald Jones, the receivers. Fred Jackson, the back. McIntyre, the fullback, not in right now. And Jones. Jackson takes it to the right side.
The Steelers doing a nice job.
No gain.
It's hard to run over there against Lamar Woodley off that right side of the offensive line as you see the Pittsburgh defense.
Ficta, Endel, and Elmer bring you the Pittsburgh starting defense. Hood, McClendon up front. Woodley, Foote, Timmons, and Carter are the linebackers. And it's Lewis, Clark, Palomalu, and Ike Taylor in the secondary. 3rd down and 2. Pittsburgh known for their blitzing. Only have one guy with his hand in the dirt right now. Here they come.
Lots of pressure.
That one's batted up in the air. Almost picked off. It's knocked to the ground.
What a great play. What a great play.
Great hustle play.
That was a great play right there by Donald Jones, who got that. That ball got batted up into the air, and it was up for grabs. They brought lots of pressure. Fitzpatrick does a nice job. It's batted way up into the air by Larry Foote.
And Woodley had
and Woodley
had
his, and watch Donald Jones bang. He got it and laid Woodley out. The receiver laying it out on the linebacker to break that interception up. Tremendous play on both ends.
Chris Rainey just lets this one bounce, and it'll be down inside the 5. Another fantastic punt by Brian Moorman. A 38-yard punt, no return, and Pittsburgh will start their second possession inside their own 5. We'll take a network timeout. No score here in Buffalo.
Scoreless in the first quarter between the Bills and the Steelers. Time for our keys to the game, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. The first key to the game for the Bills defense: eliminate big plays. So far, so good in this one. The second one, 3rd down efficiency on offense. So far, they're 0 for 1. They'll be looking for big things the next time they get the ball.
Thank you, Mike. Roethlisberger drops into his own end zone. Throws it out and behind his receiver. Nice coverage over there by Aaron Williams, intended for Emmanuel Sanders.
It's one of the things about this Bills team that we've noticed, at least the #1 defense in the preseason, is the quarterbacks for the opposing teams. Last week, Christian Ponder, and of course the first week of the preseason was RG3, and now with Ben Roethlisberger, the quarterback has to throw the football when his back foot hits the ground. If he hangs on to it, as we've seen, he steps into pressure and is going to go down. That's something that didn't exist for the Bills last year.
2nd and 10, Steelers from their own 4. Redmond runs into Shepard on the right side, giving him a yard and a half on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd and long. George Wilson also went on the tackle.
This play comes out, and it's going to go all over here. It's going to be a student body almost, and you'll watch this screen. The Buffalo Bills are going to slide down the line and just string the play out. Chris Kelsey comes in, makes sure he can't cut back, and you see there the Buffalo Bills all slide to that side, and they make sure they depend on each other, which is a huge part of defensive football.
And the Steelers being attended to down on the field. And we will take a network break right now and be back with that 3rd down when we return. No score in Buffalo. Chris Rainey steps into the lineup for him on his 3rd down and 8 for the Steelers. Roethlisberger had pressure, dumped it out, and couldn't get it to Chris Rainey. Incomplete on the play. Good pressure. And there's another Steeler down in the end zone, as we'll have to take another timeout.
Yeah, this is
before the punt.
Yeah, this is going to be the right guard for the Steelers. That's Ramon Foster. Actually, that's not Ramon Foster. That's David DeCastro,
the rookie, 2 draft choice.
Yeah, and that's not good.
So while they tended to Castro, we will take a local break here. Sitting on the cart, Steve, show us what happened on this play.
Well, he's working against Marcel Darius, and the center next to DeCastro is Marquise Pouncey. There's Darius working against DeCastro, and they're going to move up, and DeCastro kind of starts to square up on him and then gets bent back. And the left tackle, which is I believe it's Marcus Gilbert, actually fell against the back of DeCastro's leg.
So the Butler punt comes down to McKelvin at the 41. Juggles it. Now he finds a seam. McKelvin up past midfield, this time into Steelers territory, where the Bills, they started their initial drive on the 50. This time it'll be in Steelers territory at the 49. Now let's go New York State Lottery inside the numbers. New York State Lottery, hey, you never know.
Look at this. This is the game he had last year, week 16 against Denver.
That's amazing.
Three returns, and he had a touchdown in there along with 135 yards as a team record for a game. And let me tell you something, 135 yards is a bundle for a punt return. I don't care if you bust one the distance, you still got to do a couple more to get there.
10-yard average is pretty good. That was a 45-yard average for McKelvin in that game. 1st and 10, handoff. Freddie Jackson. Jackson gets the edge, gets outside, picks up the first down and more. They mark him out at the 34, a gain of 15 by Fred Jackson.
Yeah, this edge was set really well by Lee Smith, 85 right out there. He got the edge on Lamar Woodley, and that made Freddie Jackson get to the corner. Watch, right at the front of your screen, number 56, Lamar Woodley, trying to fight against Lee Smith. And like we've been saying all this preseason, the tight ends for the Bills are big dudes. They can hold the edge pretty well.
Fitz hands it off again. Cut back by Jackson with more room. He gets it down to the 26-yard line. Another pickup of 8 on the play.
Freddie Jackson looking extremely good in the limited action he's had this preseason, and he looks just like his old self that the Buffalo Bills fans has come to know. Watch as he makes these cuts. He doesn't just stick his foot in the ground. He runs in a tight circle and keeps his speed. You used to see guys like, we used to play against guys like Barry Sanders who'd put his foot in the ground and then start the other direction. Freddie has the ability to cut in a small circle and keep his speed going, and defenses really have a hard time closing on him.
2nd and 2. Spiller in the lineup, fake. Fitzpatrick to Nelson. Nelson down at the 2, actually the 1-yard line. Oh, I thought he got in.
I thought he got in as well, and it'd be a question of whether his knee went down before he reached out. I don't think there's any question he reached the ball across the goal line. Great job working against Troy Polamalu. He works across. Polamalu's followed him. Great throw by Fitzpatrick. He's going to go down. Polamalu will catch it, and I think he did go down. His knee did touch the ground before he extended the football. And they're not going to challenge this.
No, and it wasn't a scoring play, so it's not automatically
Yeah, I think
challenged.
he was just down. I think his knee was down at the 2, and he reached out with the 1. And the Bills are in no hurry to make this happen. They're probably going to, that play clock is now down to 0.
And Fitzpatrick has gone to line up over in the slot maybe. We saw a direct snap last week to Tashard Choice in a similar situation.
Yeah, the Bills took a little time getting that together, and they're going to reset the play clock. And you're right, Fitzpatrick was going to run out and line up in the slot in a little bit of a wildcat formation, and now the Steelers have gotten a look at it. We'll see if they stick with the play. Now he'll stay under center.
Or will he?
Or will he?
So far he does. Toss outside. Incomplete. Intended for Scott Chandler. Tried to use a size matchup with Chandler on Polamalu.
Yeah, if you try to use a size matchup, you don't throw the ball low and behind. Fitzpatrick threw that, was trying to be a back shoulder throw, and he actually got the throw through there. Watch out to the right of your screen. He's going to throw that, and right there, he gets it in there, but Chandler can't hold on. Polamalu You're not all pro for nothing. I mean, he's a good player.
Nice job carrying it out.
Great defensive play.
2nd and goal from the 1. Jackson gets the handoff. Touchdown, Buffalo.
That was a good drive by Buffalo. Keyed by Nelson's long catch over the middle. Good red zone efficiency. 2 plays to get it in. 1 shot at the corner of the end zone. Then they hand it to their money back. Freddie Jackson, who gets in easily over the left side, picked his way through, but there was no doubt that was a touchdown. Well executed drive by the Bills, once again set up by the great punt return of McKelvin.
Official stop play. I don't think there's anything to review there. Although all scoring plays are reviewed, as are all turnovers. But they just reset it, and Lindell will get his chance to tack on the extra point. And he does. An impressive drive. The Bills have dominated thus far early on here in this ball game. With 10:04 to go in the first, they take a 7-0 lead over the Steelers on the Freddie Jackson touchdown run. We'll take a local break. Over Pittsburgh on the Freddie Jackson touchdown run, a 1-yarder there. Well, NFL.com fantasy football is as legit as fantasy gets. Enjoy free live scoring and instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. Boy, if you had Freddie Jackson as your fantasy running back, that's a pretty good drive for you. 4 carries, 24 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, you get a little alert on your phone over that one.
John Potter set to kick off. He's 7 for 7 thus far in touchbacks. Chris Rainey deep to receive. He's going to watch this one go out of the end zone. 8 for 8 now for Potter. For more on Fred Jackson in that last drive, let's go down to the sidelines and Mike Catalana. Mike?
Yeah, guys, in the first preseason game, we saw the Bills come out throwing and really did not get the ball in Fred Jackson's hands. Well, tonight, this is more of the regular offense. Look at Fred and look at the move against Troy Polamalu to get around him, and eventually it'll be Fred Jackson who's going to take it into the end zone for the touchdown. How about since 1970, the modern NFL, of all undrafted running backs, he's 3rd in career yards behind Priest Holmes and Willie Parker. Last year he was on his way to an MVP type season till he got hurt, but Freddie's back and ready.
Thank you, Mike. So Roethlisberger comes out for his 3rd drive. No first downs yet. Throws this one out to his right, and that is complete to Antonio Brown, and that is the initial first down for the Steelers, an 11-yard pickup.
Just a quick little release play. If you're getting pressure on your quarterback, just take a 1-step drop, throw it out, and that, I'll tell you, that's a play you don't see very much. You see it in the red zone. That's almost a red zone play to the corner of the end zone, like you saw the Buffalo Bills try with Chandler. That's an unusual play for a first down, but executed perfectly by the Steelers.
1st and 10 from the 32. Handoff goes to Redmond, who left the game earlier due to an injury. Good for Steelers fans to see him back in, and he actually pushes the pile for a pickup of 6.
Yeah, kept his legs moving. Looked as though the Bills were going to stop him for 1 or 2 yard gain. He himself pushed that pile for the extra 4 yards. Great run inside by Redmond. You bet the Steelers had a quiet conversation on the sidelines over their first 2 offensive series. Not too much to talk about other than to say let's pick it up a notch.
2nd and 4. Roethlisberger hands it to Redmond again. He tries the cutback, and Barnett was there to make the initial hit, but Redmond kept going.
One of those guys has got a really, really low center of gravity. 6 foot. He's 230 pounds. His 3rd year. Gets another. You see there how tough it is. I mean, that. Hey, Your knee doesn't go down. Now he's down back there. If you wanted to, you could get them short of the first down. When the back of his wrist touches the ground, he's down. And the only thing that can touch the ground are his offhand and the tops of his feet, or the bottoms of his feet. Anything else touches the ground, he's down.
So a first down, and they kick it off to the left side. Here goes Redmond again. The turf monster got him at about midfield. There is a flag down, however.
We're going to bring this one back.
Yes, it's coming back. No wonder there was a huge hole there. Somebody was holding.
Holding. Number 53 on the offense. 10-yard penalty.
Last year's number one pick, the center, Marquise Pouncey.
Right here, he's going to work against Kyle Williams. We'll watch a little bit of a tackle he gives him. Yeah, you see there, he kind of latches on.
Well, I wonder if he was a wrestler back in the day, because that was a single leg takedown if I've ever seen one.
I've worn cowboy boots that didn't fit that tight.
So back him up, 1st and 20 now for Pittsburgh. Little delay handoff, Redmond again, and he runs into a host of Bills tacklers led by Nick Barnett.
Jerron Gilbert did a nice job getting out there as well. Gilbert, watch him at the top of your screen. He's going to work against the left tackle or right tackle, and he just forces Redmond to cut back in. And then whenever you do that as a running back, the speed is just too great in the NFL. If you stop, even the goalposts are running as fast as you are, and believe me, nobody else is that slow. I mean, they're catching up with you in a hurry. That was a great job by Gilbert.
Yes, it was. No gain on the play, 2nd and 20. Roethlisberger tries to fit the slant into Antonio Brown. Good coverage on the play by Aaron Williams.
The Steelers trying to spread it out a little bit, giving Roethlisberger a chance to get rid of it. And I think when I've watched Ben Roethlisberger over the years, he does one of two things. He's a very good quick passer. When he gets a 1-step drop or a 3-step drop, the ball comes out. When he drops back further than that, as he may here in this shotgun formation, he kind of waits a lot. He tends to hang on to the football a long time. We'll watch here if this ball comes out on time or whether he extends the play and makes something happen.
Roethlisberger 2 of 6 for 11 yards. Steelers 0 for 2 on 3rd downs. Dumps it underneath. The Bills play deep, forcing the underneath throw. Antonio Brown makes the catch. Barnett the tackle, a pickup of 13, but the punt team is coming out.
Yeah, and that was a conceded short completion. And they just had faith they were going to come up and make the tackle. It's hard to catch a ball after 5 yards and have to get 15 yards on your own in an open field. Great defensive call by the Bills.
Quick punt, McKelvin. Fakes like he's going to take it. And the Steelers down it at the 1. And that's where the Bills will take over with a 7-0 lead. Here with 6:34 to go in the first. We'll take a network timeout and be back with more action in a moment.
Goal line for the Steelers. Watch Curtis Brown for the Steelers come down and down this punt. Now he cannot be touching the goal line and touch the football or it's a touchback. Right there his foot's on. He reached out and touched it. I'm thinking the Bills may, right there as he touches it and then touches it again. His foot was on the line there at the goal line. I think if the Bills wanted to, they could challenge that easily and may win that challenge.
Doesn't look like they're going to do it.
But he's not going to do
Coach Gailey is down there giving it to the official. And Fitz takes this. He's going to take
now he did.
Snap.
He did
challenge.
He did challenge it. He did challenge it. And I got to tell you, you'd think a little home cooking. They didn't show that replay on the jumbotron at all. You'd think Chan Gailey would like to have had a look at it a couple of times, and they weren't showing it. We saw it a few times in the break, and both you and I agree that 19 yards of field position on that punt.
That's worth it.
I think you want to challenge that guy did not down the punt in the end zone.
Yeah, that's
Curtis Brown.
When you start on inside your own 1, that can be calamitous.
Yeah, exactly.
Those Buffalo 19 yards are worth it.
The ruling on the field.
Those 99-yard touchdown drives don't happen too often.
Bobby Jackson is our referee today. And
let's take another look at it. And the thought is this: you cannot be touching the goal line and the ball at the same time, or it's a touchback. It's as if the ball is in the end zone. There you see he reaches out at the end and his foot is on the line. Now the question, now this is the look at it. Right there, his foot's on the line and he touches it. There's no question that that is a touchback.
Yeah.
Whenever you, I'll show you, is that all these guys here, that's a train wreck. Nothing good's going to come out of that. Somebody's going to push, and that's exactly what happened. They almost got it done. It looked like they did. You see there, that we know that foot was on the line. This play should be reversed, and I'm sure it will be. You see his foot's on the goal line, and he pushes that ball back into the hands of his teammate, Ryan Mundy. And Mundy's out of the end zone, but Curtis Brown is not.
You know, we have replacement officials, but not in the replay booth. Those guys are the regular guys, and Bob Boylston is our replay official tonight, and it's incumbent on him to determine this call.
And this, you know, when you talk about the officials in the state of officiating, this is the hardest aspect of the game for them to master, because you really throw the regular down and distance rule book out the window, and there's 83 more rules that apply to the kicking game that don't apply anyplace else in the sport. So, you know, to come in and kind of parachute in and try and pick that up real quick, plus the speed of the game, and
yes.
You saw how fast that happened. We had 6 slow motion replay angles, and we're still squinting at the monitor to make sure we got it right.
Now, obviously, Coach Gailey has somebody upstairs who is advising him in that
Well,
regard.
they're right next to us in the booth. The coach's booth is right next to our broadcast booth, and they've got a lot of sets of eyes up there looking right at the same things we're looking at in the monitors.
Mike Catalano, how did it look down on the field?
Yeah, well, Chan Gailey kept trying to get their attention earlier so that he could challenge the play. And, you know, he's 1 for 1 so far, but the last one was a 5-yard line play. This one a little bit tighter.
Well, he did get their attention when he threw
The
that red
ruling on
flag.
the field is reversed. The player who touched the ball, foot was on the line. The result of that play is a touchback. Buffalo will not be charged with a timeout. First down after the touchback.
That's great dress rehearsal
Got
for
it
this
right.
Bills staff.
That's right.
To challenge that play, and for the officials now to get it right, and Buffalo just picked up 19 yards.
I'll tell you, it's funny. You can think about this in a lot of ways, but the Bills coaches up in the booth are looking at it. It takes a little bit of courage to tell the head coach challenge.
You don't want to get that one wrong.
You don't want to get that wrong. But the hierarchy worked. Chan Gailey had faith in the system he's installed here with his coaches and their communications, and they got it right. And so did the officials.
So 1st and 10, Buffalo from their own 20. Fitzpatrick throws it down the post, complete to Stevie Johnson. He lays out and makes the catch at the 43, a gain of 23.
And that was an outstanding throw and catch. Stevie Johnson giving it up. Fitzpatrick's going to find him coming across, and Stevie knows he's getting labeled, and he does. Fitzpatrick, great protection as you see Levitri come out, pick up the rushing outside linebacker off the play action fake, and Stevie Johnson, that is a big time catch.
Fitzpatrick 3 of 5 for 56 yards here to start. And Fred Jackson, actually C.J. Spiller checks in the game at running back, and he pushes his way for a pickup of 5. So far, this offense tonight is clicking.
Yeah, this is as good as they've looked. You kind of expected them to, turn it up a little bit, but against a perennial power like the Steelers, a team that always has that good defense, always is unpredictable and complicated defensively, you wonder how good they're going to look. And thus far in the early going, it's been all Buffalo.
Nelson crosses the formation.
This is 3 wides, a tight end and a running back, nobody in the backfield.
Here comes the blitz. Fitz gets it out. That one is complete to Stevie Johnson again, and he's very close to another Bills first down.
He had it to begin with and then tried to make a little bit extra on it, and I think they're going to mark him just shy of the first down. He had it if he had tucked it and just turned up the field.
Boy,
he might have
close.
got it, but now see there, he tries to spin out of it, and like I said earlier, the speed of the NFL, particularly guys like Lewis and Palomalu, they're going to get there quick. And that is just short.
Excuse me, Stevie Johnson now with 3 grabs for 35 yards. And Fitzpatrick is spread out to the top of the set. And Spiller takes the snap. And he gets the first down. Little wildcat without Brad Smith.
Well, no Brad Smith, no Freddie Jackson. And a direct snap to C.J. Spiller. Now that's a look that I'm pretty sure the Bills have not shown anybody.
They did it last week with Choice, but that was a goal line play.
That was Choice, and now they'll also do it with Freddie and C.J. in the backfield together. And of course, when Brad Smith comes in, it's automatically a wildcat formation. So they're showing a lot of different personnel combinations.
So a first down and a little bit of trickeration. Blitz comes, and it's tossed out quick to Johnson. He can't hang on to it. A good check there by Ryan Fitzpatrick. He smelled the blitz coming, checked into the right play, and Stevie Johnson just wasn't able to hang on to it.
Well, I'm not really well versed in the Pittsburgh defensive playbook, but they're bringing some pressure right now. I don't think Dick LeBeau likes the fact that the Buffalo offense is making some first downs and scoring a touchdown. I think they're starting to call their way out of this game. I mean, they want to play a little better defensively, and they're giving them the tools to do it.
So second down and 10 now. Fitz gets this one batted down. It's the second time tonight we've seen one of his passes batted down.
And I'll tell you what, the Steelers are good at that. They're a good pressure team. You know they can send pressure from a lot of different angles. And it's really Ziggy Hood does a nice job of doing that. It happened earlier as well when Larry Foote batted the pass up into the air. If you're not going to get there as a defensive lineman, get your hands up, because only bad things can happen to the offense when you bat the ball into the air defensively, and only good things happen for your team. It's always a good thing, and Pittsburgh's good at it.
So third and 10. Blitz comes again. It's picked up. Fitz throws it outside and intended for Stevie Johnson, and that one is incomplete. Fitz took a hit there, and the Bills will have to punt.
When you talk about this punt team for the Bills, Brian Moorman in his 12th year, he's had the best preseason of any punter I've ever witnessed. I mean, this guy, he is really, the first punt of the night, it was down on the 2-yard line. And we'll see what he can do here. But he's playing better now.
He drops the nose of the ball. See how he drops the nose to punt it?
He hits the tumbler. That's great coverage.
Rainey thinks he can make something happen, and he can't. Brad Smith down there leading the charge.
Well, and you can say, well, he just punted it down. The thing about that is he kicked it with the tumbling effect, which means if it drops on the ground, it's going to bounce straight up or back towards him, which will keep it out of the end zone. And even hitting the tumbler, he puts it high enough that Brad Smith and everybody else are down there waiting on it. If the guy tries to run with it, he's asking for trouble. And that's just a great job by Moorman, who, once again, looks to be trying to get to the Pro Bowl.
Well, if you could do it in preseason, he'd be there. So Roethlisberger comes out, just one first down for this Pittsburgh offense. This is their 4th possession of the day. Play action. He dumps it down to his tight end, Leonard Pope, but the Pope is stopped by Nick Barnett after a gain of 2. And we'll take it down to the field now, and Mike Catalano.
Fellas, we can see the impact Kyle Williams is having back and healthy on this defensive line. Last week it was Kyle Williams combining with Marcel Darius to get the sack and getting to the quarterback, Christian Ponder. Tonight it is Kyle Williams again showing his impact, driving through the middle and helping Mario Williams get the sack. Kyle says he's not 100% yet, but he's getting close off last year's injury. And boy, what a difference he makes on the inside.
Well, you're right about that, Mike. Quick pass to the outside, and this one is to Sanders, and he gets up close to the first down. Looks like he'll be about a yard and a half shy after a gain of 7.
You know, and for good reason, a lot of attention has been garnered by Mario Williams, the signing, and also Mark Anderson, who's not playing tonight. But let me tell you something, the strength of this defense is down inside. It's Kyle Williams and Marcel Darius. Those two guys are difference makers for everybody. And Mario Williams is going to feel the difference. Chris Kelsey, Mark Anderson are going to feel the difference. All the cornerbacks are going to feel the difference. Those two guys healthy down inside make all the difference in the world for everybody.
Steelers 0 for 3 on third downs. They'll get their initial first down of the ball game on a dive up the middle by Isaac Redmond.
Yeah, this defensive line of the Buffalo Bills is going to be really, I think, the strength of this football team all year. If those guys stay healthy, there's no stopping them. Not only are they healthy and they got quality guys up front, those 4 guys there with Kelsey, Williams, Darius, and Williams, the guys behind those guys are quality players who have started a number of games for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Spencer Johnson.
And when you get in the fourth quarter, those guys are going to be fresh because they only had to play half a game.
On first down, it's Redmond again. And he'll pick up 4 off the right side.
And you get into these passing situations with Kyle Williams and Marcel Darius down inside. You can't single team them with a guard. As you saw earlier, Marcel Darius just sticks his arms through the guy's armpits and forklifts him back to the quarterback. And as we saw in Minnesota last week, the quarterback steps up away from Mario Williams. He steps right into Kyle Williams or Marcel. I mean, it really is something that I don't think Bills fans have ever seen, certainly not in a 4-3 alignment. I don't think this franchise has ever been able to field a defensive line like this.
It's close, maybe back to our glory days.
Well, that was a 3-4,
right?
You know, with a nose guard like a Fred Smerlas or Jeff Wright, with Bruce Smith on the outside.
And Art Still. And
right. Those guys, and if they can get pressure with those 4 players and not have to send extra help, this is a team that is going to they're going to be a force. They really are.
The Steelers take a timeout, and while we have a moment, I want to remind you that the Bills are back in prime time this season, and you can be there when the Bills host division rival, the Miami Dolphins, Thursday night, November 15th. The national spotlight will be on Ralph Wilson Stadium, and you don't want to miss that one, folks. Tickets are available by calling 1-877-BB-TICKS or at buffalobills.com. Prime time is your time to lead the charge.
I'm working that game.
Are you? Nice.
I'm going to be the sideline reporter for the national broadcast. I'm going to stand right on the down markers, man. I'm just sweet.
Good for you. Second down and 5. Chris Rainey in the backfield. Roethlisberger with pressure. Throws a deep ball. Nobody out there. Sanders is over on that side, but Gilmore just took him away.
Well, Nick Barnett was right in the grill of Ben Roethlisberger. He monkeys around and then comes late, and you see it. The right tackle just doesn't believe he's going to come. And he does. Rushes right off the edge. And Max Starks didn't even look at him. And Ben Roethlisberger gave Max Starks a look after that play was over.
Yeah, come on, man.
Give me a little help here.
Is it me or Roethlisberger looks a little thinner this year? He takes his team out for a third down and 5 now. He's throwing the home run ball again deep down the right sidelines, and it's dropped by Emmanuel Sanders, who did have a step on Williams. Incomplete. And the Steelers will punt.
Great separation by Sanders working against Aaron Williams. Going to the deep ball. Roethlisberger can put it out. You see there, that's all the open you're going to get. You got to pull that in. Of course, the Steelers without their number 1 guy, Mike Wallace, who can really run. You think Sanders is fast. Mike Wallace can really put it in gear.
Butler, big punt, drives McKelvin back to his own 11. And he'll get bottled up after getting too big of a head start this time. Mark it at the 18-yard line, a 6-yard return. And the Bills, with 23 seconds to go here in the first quarter, will have possession and a 7-0 lead.
I think the Steelers, as we said before, I think defensively, the Steelers have stepped it up a notch after the Bills have stayed on the field offensively.
They've opened up the playbook, that's for sure.
They are really bringing some exotic pressure that you don't usually see in the preseason. Now, granted, this is the 3rd preseason game, and as we said, it's a little bit of a different animal as far as preseason games go. These are the number 1 defense, number 1 offense. It is a real game. for these guys. So you would expect them to have a little bit more at their disposal, but there's no question the Steelers are calling some exotic fronts.
Spiller and Jackson in the backfield. Middle screen to Jackson, and Jackson makes a man miss, and he'll gain 3 yards out to the 21-yard line. And Buffalo thus far has 65 yards passing, 30 rushing for 95 yards here in the first quarter.
And that play right there is an answer to the blitzes that they're sending. They shot a little inside screen, and anytime you're getting pressure like that, let the rush come, then throw it right behind them, and it's a good little play call by Chan Gailey.
So give him 4 on the play, actually, so it'll be 2nd and 6 when we return for the second quarter. Buffalo with a 7-0 lead, looking good, playing some tough football here early on in this game against the Steelers. We'll take a local.
The Bills leading the Steelers 7-0. Great atmosphere down here on the field. Now, you look in the stands, it's Kids Day, people enjoying themselves, having fun. Behind me on the field, on this Bills sidelines, a lot of intensity, about as close as you're ever going to get to a regular season feel, especially in that Bills defensive line. They've enjoyed getting after the Steelers. This team believes they can match up with some of the NFL's best like Pittsburgh. They're showing it tonight.
Well, they sure did in that first quarter, Mike. As the second quarter about to get underway, Fred Jackson in the backfield behind Fitzpatrick. He's got a 3 wide receiver set. Nelson in the slot, and they'll run the football. Jackson on the left side makes the first man miss, gets up near the 30-yard line. A first down for Buffalo.
That was a really nice job on the outside by Donald Jones, getting a little block, coming back inside, getting in the way of the defender. Yeah, that was really well executed at the point of attack, and Freddie Jackson better than anybody at letting his blocks and letting a play develop. You'll never see a more patient running back with the ball in his hands. Never seems to be in a hurry, even when he's running full speed.
Jackson with 5 carries for 32 yards, 1 catch for -4 yards on that little screen pass. Fitz, almost picked off. He was looking for Stevie Johnson on a slant route, and Lamar Woodley got a hand on that.
The 3rd time tonight, Fitzpatrick's had a pass batted down, and it's been all of it's been those. This is the first one actually. Woodley was actually retreating from the line of scrimmage and got a hand on this. Let's just go, and Woodley gets his head around and a paw on the ball. Just an alert play. That's, you know, they're so well schooled, this Steeler defense, and they've played so much together, and Dick LeBeau has them so prepared. They never miss an opportunity like that. I think it's one of the most well-schooled defenses you'll ever witness.
Empty backfield. Fitz does a little loop-de-loo, nowhere to go with it, and he'll be sacked for the first time tonight.
Yeah, he saw something when he dropped back, because he gave up on that play pretty quickly. He didn't try and extend it very much by running outside the pocket. Looked like he was going to roll out and then just ducked his head and got what he could get. He might be under some instruction to do that in this preseason game. This team would be
don't want to lose him.
very sad if 14 wasn't lining up on opening day.
Gives Ziggy Hood the sack. The Bills on a 3rd down and 11 here. They're 1 of 3 on 3rd down conversions tonight. Blitz comes again. Fitz with time down the middle and just overshoots Donald Jones. Incomplete, and they will have to punt the football.
Yeah, and the Steelers are doing it now with pressure, and that's the way they do it. The Bills have got to find an answer to the Steelers, bringing some extra people and making Fitzpatrick throw the football, or at least move in the pocket before he can get rid of the football. And I think that's been the story of the last 2 or 3 series for the Bills.
Norman's punt is high and towards the sideline. And it's brought in, and he will be immediately stopped. That's Chris Rainey. And there is a flag down.
And this may be, I would think, with the way that it is, it could be against either team. It's on the sideline. I think it has to do with the outside gunner. It could be that he didn't come back in bounds quick enough, or that somebody hit him while he was out of bounds. If you look down here at the bottom of the screen, right down here.
During the return, blocking the back, number 33 on the return team.
Oh, there you go.
10-yard penalty. First down.
Ron Brooks.
So we will take a timeout with the Bills up 7-0 here early in the second.
Well, we had it right. They did call it on the kicking team. And
They changed it during the timeout.
Yeah, they corrected it. And Bruce DeHaven.
Well, I agree with Bruce DeHaven here. How can the defense be called for clipping? I've never heard of such a thing. And that's 2 weeks in a row we've seen that call. I better call me an official and find out what's going on.
The problem is you've got coverage guys going down to tackle the ball carrier who are getting called for a block in the back, and
you're not blocking.
You're not blocking it. You're not supposed to be blocking anybody.
Yeah, I don't understand that, and maybe these officials don't either as they're discussing it. But I've never seen that up until the last 2 weeks here. And, I guess that's.
See, now they're talking about it. I think it's the light's finally starting to go on.
Yeah, there's 4 opinions right there. Oh, here comes a 5th.
Here's the light bulb that just went on.
Well, Chan Gailey wonders what's going on. We saw Bruce DeHaven
and
get
I'll tell
animated.
you, and these officials, the league is going to go on. They're not going to stop playing games because they're not officials. These officials are going to, and I'll tell you what, I think they are getting better. I've seen fewer penalties called. They're getting better at it. They're getting more well-schooled in it and all of that. But they blew it a couple of times. But let's face it, the other guys blew it a couple of times too.
Yeah,
the thing that I think's different, Ray, is that in the regular season, coaches like Chan Gailey, Mike Tomlin, Mike Shanahan, Andy Reid, Tom Coughlin, they're not going to be understanding about it.
No, not when it.
They're not going to let it drop.
Count.
They're not going to let it drop, and it's gonna become an issue.
Well, let's
bigger than it. Look at Mike Tomlin.
Let's hear what Bobby Jackson says.
There is no foul on the play.
Thank you.
Pittsburgh's ball at the dead ball spot. First down.
He doesn't look happy about having to come. Look at Mike Tomlin.
Well, it took them a while, but I
if they're going to get it right, that's fine. This game's going to end at about 11:30 tonight, but they're going to get the call right.
Well, I suppose we can laugh about it now.
Well, you and I can.
Well, the Steelers were laughing it up over there on the side.
As far as I know, we're not getting cut on Monday.
No, not this Monday. Roethlisberger hands it off to Redmond, tries the left side, and that's not going to happen. Gilmore comes up with a nice diving tackle.
Yeah, great speed by the Bills defense there, stringing that play out. You're watching Redmond's going to bounce this right there. He bounced it. Moats keeps him at bay, and then Gilmore comes out and finishes up on the tackle. Art Moats, who Chan Gailey said has had as good a camp as anybody, taking as big a step forward as anybody on the roster, and showing it, getting the chance to start tonight.
Third-year man out of James Madison, 6th-round pick in 2010. 2nd and 8. Roethlisberger back to throw. Out route, hooks up with Antonio Brown for a first down after a gain of 9.
And that, once again, is one of those passes that Ben Roethlisberger, I think, is so good at. One of his fortes, getting the ball out, little quick 3-step drop, little 10-yard speed route, and he just lets it go. And he's so big and he's so powerful. His arm is enough to get it there. And George Wilson couldn't even get out from the strong safety position underneath that route fast enough to stop that pass from being completed.
Hand off to Redmond, and nowhere to go in the middle as Kelsey makes the play along with Calvin Shepard. So far tonight, excuse me, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the Bills doing a nice job. You see the 4 defensive linemen down here, right here, and then George Wilson at the end. And that's what the offensive line of the Steelers have to deal with right there. And you'll see as they come around, they try a little trap play, and there's just nobody moving. Kyle Williams, Marcel Dar, you can't push them down the field. The line of scrimmage never changes.
Real nice fill by Shepard on that as well. A screen pass on 2nd and 9. Redmond with a little bit of room, and he'll get About 8 on the play before he is run down by Barnett and company.
They're going to give him almost enough for the first down on that. That's a well-timed play as well. Little
Kyle
delay
Williams.
Screen. Kyle Williams. Look at Kyle Williams.
He's humping, isn't he?
He's only 315 pounds running out there. I mean, he's covering some ground. I'd say, if anybody out there, regular fans, if you know somebody who weighs 315, ask them to run like that. Because I'll tell you what, man, that's a rare ability for a guy that size.
3rd and 1. Jonathan Dwyer is going to get bottled up for a loss.
They got him for a loss, and they're going to send the punt unit. The Steelers aren't even beefing about it. They sent the punt unit on immediately. Right at the point of attack, the far side of your screen. There it is. You see that interior.
Spencer Johnson.
Barnett, Spencer Johnson, Arthur Motes, Barnett. Great job by the defensive front of the Bills.
So Butler comes out to punt. McKelvin makes the fair catch at his own 16-yard line. 39-yard punt, no return. Bills will have the ball. They have the lead 7-0 with 10:33 here to go in the first half. We'll take a local break and be back with more.
We put it on number 21, Leotis McKelvin, and boy, he is playing well in that nickel corner role, but we know what else Leotis can do. He is an outstanding punt and kick returner, showing that ability, but also as a special teamer, getting down there first to down the punt. Leotis McKelvin having a great preseason in camp and has impressed Chan Galen.
Not only in special teams, but also playing nickel cornerback.
Spiller loses the football. And it looks like the Steelers have it. Yes, that's Ziggy Hood. Spiller spilled the football out. Hook jumped on it, and Pittsburgh takes advantage of the first turnover of the game.
And he gets this ball, makes a move right here, and boom, right there, the ball pops right out.
Timmons knocks it out.
Timmons knocks it out, and it goes right to Ziggy Hood. Right, in fact, it never even reached. It goes right down in his face mask. Working against Hairston right there, and it dropped right down between them.
So the Bills defense in a sudden change situation.
The Bills were really good at the turnover ratio last year. They took the ball away a lot.
31 times.
And only fumbled it away 5 times.
First lost fumble of the preseason. And Roethlisberger hands it off to Redmond, who made a nice spin move to pick up 4 yards. Calvin Shepard ends up with the tackle.
As we said early on, Redmond getting a chance to play this tonight because Mendenhall is out of the lineup. You see C.J. Spiller there, has to think about that. There's nothing worse in the preseason than blowing an opportunity, because there's so many guys on the rosters. Your opportunities are few and far between. They sting a little more when they don't go your way.
Roethlisberger surveys the field, throws it out to the right side to his tight end Heath Miller, who came out of the backfield. Modes on the play, but a first down for Pittsburgh.
First and goal on about the 6. And this is what Ben Roethlisberger does. And this is one thing I said. He drops back, and when he does that, he really has the ability to hang on to the football a long time. He lets the route develop and then some.
Yeah, that looked like it was about his third option. He initially was looking to his left, then the middle. Found Miller on the right side for the first down. First and goal, Pittsburgh from the 6-yard line. Great penetration. Just bottles that play up as Redmond is tackled for a loss.
Kyle Williams, you wonder why the guy goes to the Pro Bowl and why he's so well respected. Watch right here. Watch what he does to the guard. Just follows him on the trap. He's just so fast.
He just knocked off blockers.
I mean, he's so explosive off the ball and so big. I mean, you gotta have somebody on. They're trying to pull that guard Ramon Foster across for the trap, and you can't do it when Kyle Williams pulls as fast as the guard does.
2nd and goal from the 9. Slant pass complete. That's caught by Antonio Brown, but he stopped a yard short of the end zone.
That's going to bring up a 3rd and 2, 3rd and goal on the 2. And that was a very quick pass by Roethlisberger. The Bills get caught a little confused, I think, on that coverage. You don't see somebody that open that quickly unless somebody got confused, double-teamed the outside guy and left the inside guy uncovered for a split second.
And Roethlisberger takes a timeout as the Bills countered the Steelers with a goal line defense. And Roethlisberger didn't like it, and he burns the timeout. So we'll take one as well, a local timeout. The Bills leading 7-0. Steelers knocking on the door. NFL.com Fantasy offers a legit NFL managed league with free live scoring and instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. Kids Day crowd on their feet cheering as the Bills defense with their backs against the wall here. A 3rd down and goal from the 2 for the Steelers.
This is good preseason action as well because it puts the Bills defense in a bad situation because of a turnover, something I hope they don't face too often, but it can't happen.
Handoff. And the push. Gets Isaac Redman into the end zone. Well, the initial surge looked pretty good, but Redman kept the feet driving.
Yeah, the Bills had it stopped at the point of attack, and then some guys jumped on for the Steelers, and they got a big push. You see Darius gets him right there, along with, I believe it's Shepard. Yeah, Shepard. Shepard and Darius stop him right there, and then they get going sideways, and Steelers jump on his back. Foster gets in there, and they start going sideways and finally get it over the end line for the touchdown.
So the turnover, the Spiller fumble, proves to be costly for the Bills as Son Schweizem is on to try to tie this ball game up. And Schweizem is good. And we are knotted at 7 apiece with 7:37 to go here in the first half. That Pittsburgh drive, a 5-play, 18-yard drive, ate up 2 minutes and 50 seconds off the clock, capped off by that 2-yard Isaac Redman touchdown run.
You said the Steelers come off the field. I feel pretty good about the score, although they got it with a turnover. Offensively, it didn't take much to get points out of that. See Mike Tomlin talking to the official. This is kind of something I see happening if the regular season begins as the preseason has gone with the replacement officials. Head coaches
doing a little instructing.
Well, yeah, instructing, and also they're all healthy. Give them a lesson right now. It ain't going to give them a lesson when the regular season starts. They're going to work them.
Might even be working them a little bit there too. There's the recap of this drive as Schweizem kicks it off deep to return Smith and Graham. And that's Brad Smith from about 5-6 yards deep, gets out past the 20 to the 26-yard line. Nice return.
Yeah, that was deep
Brad
in the
Smith.
end zone. He brought that out from deep in the end zone. Excellent return by the Bills special teams.
Let's send it down to the sidelines and Mike Catalana. Mike?
Yeah, C.J. Spiller coming off the field after he had the fumble that led to the touchdown by the Steelers, and C.J. having his teammates come up to him to keep his head up. That really shouldn't be a big problem for Spiller, because last year after Fred Jackson's injury, he got his opportunity to play and he performed well, and we talked to him about having that confidence to go out there and prove it. He said he did it in spots last year, but he wants to show consistency this year. You'll see him try to bounce back from that fumble this time when the Bills have the ball.
And he's out there here to start this series. 1st and 10, Buffalo. They actually are going from the 27-yard line. Play action. Fitz down the sidelines. Looked like Graham stopped his route. Or, excuse me, Stevie Johnson
Yeah,
stopped
he
his
did.
route.
He gave up on the route a little too early. Fitzpatrick came to him late. We were talking before this game goes. You talk about Stevie Johnson. Fitzpatrick's 4 for 12 coming into this drive. 3 of those 4 completions have been to Stevie Johnson. That would have been an incompletion, so he's 4 of 13 now. You see there, Stevie Johnson stopped, and the ball went over his head. Fitzpatrick looking the other way, and came back late. And sometimes a receiver just won't believe his quarterback's going to look back his way and wants to adjust or come back in case the quarterback does get in trouble. And he should just keep running the same route.
I'm sure he'll hear about that. Brings up a 2nd down and 10 now. Here goes Spiller off to the left side, just past the 30-yard line. Him 3 on the pickup.
Yeah, coming into this drive, before this drive began, the Bills had run 2 receivers, 3 receivers, 4 receivers, and no receivers. And they're running 3 and 4 receiver sets 47% of the time, and 2 receiver sets 43% of the time. So
what does all that mean?
They're running a lot of guys out there. This roster is going to be made up of a lot of guys who can run and catch. I think they're going to have a lot of pass plays in that playbook, I think.
Wide open offense. Those stats Steve just read you accumulated by our talent stat man, Lou Rossi, working hard here. That ball is complete to Donald Jones. Nice pickup to midfield. A perfect throw from Fitz for a gain of 16 to Jones.
Yeah, one of the differences, Fitzpatrick had plenty of time to look back and let this play develop. 5-man rush with one guy dropping off on what they call a green dog, where he's going to rush if the back stays in to block, and if the back releases, he'll release and cover the back. And that's what happened on that. It ended up being a 4-man rush. Fitzpatrick saw it, knew he was protected, and waited until the pass came open.
Fred Jackson back in the lineup at tailback. The Bills right at the midfield stripe. Fitz throws another one quick out there to Stevie Johnson, and they're not on the same page right now.
Fitzpatrick, you kind of get to know guys when you watch him. When you look back and he's already got his chin strap undone, he kind of snaps it off. Snaps it off in disgust after that play. Stevie Johnson, that's the 2nd time in this drive where Stevie Johnson has not done what Ryan Fitzpatrick expected him to do. You don't win like that.
So that brings up a 2nd down and 10. Jackson in the backfield. Fitz out of the gun. And he just overshoots David Nelson. Good coverage. The Steelers had Nelson bracketed, and Fitz just threw that one away.
He threw that away because he was getting pressure from behind. He got leveled by Chris Carter coming in off the backside. He knows he's got it right there, and you see Chris Carter coming in, slamming him to the ground. He knew that when Spiller went low that he only had a split second more to get rid of it, because when you cut an NFL linebacker, they get back up
quickly.
Quick. Luckily, Fitzpatrick was looking and saw that develop and got rid of the football.
Bills 2 of 5 on 3rd down conversions, one of Mike's keys to the game. Shot completed underneath to Derek Hagan, but Hagan will be 6 yards shy of the 1st down after a gain of 4, and the Bills punting unit is taking the field.
Yeah, one of the things that the Bills offense has looked much better in this game, obviously scoring the touchdown already, completing some passes here in this drive, but one of the things they're going to have to do is find a way to win on the outside against the blitz. Fitzpatrick's got to have options when the teams like the Steelers bring pressure, and tonight they've looked a little rusty.
Mormon aims for the corner, and this one has the backup juice on it as well, and it'll be stopped at the 8-yard line. We'll see where they end up marking it, but yet another punt inside the 20 by Brian Mormon, and they do mark it at the 8. So we will take a local timeout with 5:03 here to go in the first half. We're all knotted up at 7 apiece. And the little ones enjoying this 12th annual Kids Day.
It's turned into a really nice tradition here, but they sell it out as a preseason game, and everybody around the NFL knows it's hard to sell out a preseason game. They do it here in Buffalo with Kids Night. It's a totally different atmosphere, totally different pregame festivities. The parking lot's way different. And
it's a different kind of tailgate
it's turned
going
in,
on there.
you got a whole generation of people now coming up as Bills fans as this play goes off. I don't want to talk over the play, but you got a whole generation of people. This is where it starts.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the first game.
Yes, this is the first game. Kids night, preseason, and it's going to go on and on and on. I mean, you see, it's everywhere. And we always make the joke here in the broadcast booth, and I was talking to the voice of the Bills, John Murphy, as well. We can tell a difference in the roar of the crowd.
A little higher
because
pitched.
it's higher pitched. It's really, it's
true.
you know, the people, you spend a lot of time in stadiums, you notice stuff like that.
Barnett made that last tackle for a loss. 2nd and 11 now for Roethlisberger and the Steelers. He's back to throw. It breaks down, and he will get sacked again the second time tonight. Marcel Darius along with Mario Williams. Actually, Mario Williams had the first sack. Let's see if he gets this one.
Watch how this pressure comes from all four places, and it's just going to collapse on Ben Roethlisberger. And I said it starts with those two defensive tackles, Marcel Darius and Kyle Williams, just squeeze Roethlisberger down, and the speed on the outside of Mario Williams and Chris Kelsey just close the bookends. Roethlisberger has no place to go. That collapsed pocket happened so fast, that play was doomed.
Second sack of the night for Mario Williams. Brings up a 3rd and long. And the Steelers will come up woefully short in that attempt as Kochery makes the reception. McKelvin makes the tackle.
Once again, the Bills giving up, are conceding a short completion, so they come up and make the tackle short of the first down. And that's what defense is all about. It's not so much about, you know, sometimes making the big play. It's about getting that offense off the field and making them punt. And that's what that defense was designed to do.
Butler. Short kick. McKelvin takes it at his 50, makes the first man miss. And the Bills will start this drive in Steeler territory, winning the field position game here late in the second quarter. 3:08 to play, 7-7 tie.
And McKelvin getting up a little frustrated. He wanted to break. He thought he had some room. So gifted. One thing he's learned in his years in the NFL returning punts that maybe he didn't know when he first got here. Rule number 1 on punt return is make sure when the play ends, your team has the ball.
Well, he's still over there thinking.
And he's done more
had
than
a big
that.
one.
Yeah, he's done more than that tonight.
You see the rushing and passing stats: 9 runs, 17 passes. You see the yardage. Nice offensive performance by the Bills, particularly early on. Freddie Jackson makes a couple of guys miss. And gets down to the 36-yard line, a pickup of 6 on the play.
When you think about it, we were talking about the different formations that the Bills are using, different personnel packages. They are 30% 4 receivers, 30% 3 receivers, and 33% 2 receivers. They're splitting it right down the middle. They're showing every possible receiving and personnel combinations tonight, let alone the guys who are running in and out of the same position.
And this is that dress rehearsal. This is kind of the offense I think you can expect to see when the regular season comes around here in a few weeks. 2nd and 6. And nowhere to go that time for Jackson.
Great defensive play. Great defensive play. Larry Foote. Open. I'll tell you what, it's hard to tackle somebody like Freddie Jackson in the open field. Larry Foote got it done.
And the Bills will let this wind down to the 2-minute warning. And they will face a 3rd down and 8 when we return. We will take a network timeout. 2 minutes to go here in the first half. We're all tied up, 7 apiece here in Buffalo. On Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker and Kyle Williams. He's a special guy.
He really is. All the injuries the Buffalo Bills roster suffered last year, we were talking about how guys were coming back, and almost to a man, everybody said Kyle Williams came back faster and better than anybody else who was injured last year. That he came back, and he says he's not 100%. He's the only one who knows because nobody else can tell.
Well, he's pretty close to it, I got to say. Buffalo 2 of 6 on 3rd down conversions. This one a 3rd down and 8. Fitz down the sidelines. He overshoots Hagan and took another hit as the Steelers brought 5.
Yeah, and that's the Steelers' way of doing business. They're going to get in a 3rd and long. They're going to bring 5 guys and make you, not only are they going to get pressure on the passer and maybe the sack, they're going to force a bad throw. Fitzpatrick doing a nice job getting rid of that so that he doesn't get sacked, and also setting up, just getting rid of it and throwing it away so that it didn't turn into an interception or something worse.
Mormon with another chance to angle the punt, and he does so. Rainey doesn't even come close to it. Great special teams execution by the Bills. And Mormon says, yeah, baby, got me another one. That was down by Corey McIntyre, and Pittsburgh will start from their own 2.
I had a preseason as good as Brian Mormon is having once for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He's had it for a month.
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, he really had. And that, once again, I mean, he put it on the 2-yard line, and he's done it a lot this preseason. The guy's in his 12th year. He's a really outstanding athlete, and the thing that gets me about him, most of the kickers and punters in the league these days they're all like these 6'6" guys.
Right.
He's not that tall, and I think it's a testament to his athleticism that he can do what he does with the football.
So with 1:46 to go here in the first half, Roethlisberger will take this snap in the shadow of his own end zone. Hands off, nowhere to go. Kyle Williams stops up Dwyer along with Mario Williams.
And Marcel Darius ended up in the backfield of the Steelers and forced the running back, had to bounce it out. Once again, the interior line of the Buffalo Bills. Watch Darius gets up the field and forces the running back. He's only got one cut then. You see Darius is clear in the end zone. He gets spun around working there against Marquise Pouncey. And these guys down inside, we've talked about it the entire half. So much has been made of Mario Williams and Mark Anderson and these defensive ends that have signed. This defensive line is about those 2 guys down inside, and they are proving it every time the Steelers take a snap. Both guards in the center have got a handful. Not only are they overpowering the interior of the Steelers lines, they're out-quicking them. I mean, they're getting across the football. They're running down the line faster than either guard or center can keep up with those 2 guys.
So no gain on that last play. The Steelers with only 24 yards rushing here in the first half.
Ben Roethlisberger is not happy. They've got some confusion going on.
There is a flag down.
On the offense, half the distance, we play 2nd down.
There's a good catch by the officials. They had 12 guys in the huddle. And that's a penalty for the offense.
A 1-yard penalty. And
it's just what you need. Ben Roethlisberger standing in blue AstroTurf.
I know you're thinking safety if you're in a blue jersey right now. They try the fullback Will Johnson up the middle. Nowhere for him to go. He gets back maybe to the original line of scrimmage, and Buffalo will take a timeout.
Now they're thinking about maybe getting the football back. 3rd and 9. They're going to force the Steelers to do something. Now the Steelers, if they're in full tuck position, they're going to run the football here on this 3rd down play, not thinking they're going to get the first down, but to keep the clock running and force the Bills to use their last timeout. Now, if they're not in full tuck position, they're going to come out and air it out and try and get the first down. I doubt that'll happen.
Yeah, you risk the incomplete pass, which would stop the clock and save Buffalo the timeout.
Excuse me, the way the Buffalo Bills front 4 are playing, you don't want Roethlisberger dropping back 5 yards deep in his end zone trying to get rid of the football.
I agree with you.
And although now that we said that, he's going to line up in shotgun, and he's going to do just that. We'll see what the Bills dial up.
Pittsburgh just 2 of 8 on 3rd downs, including 4 drop passes. Roethlisberger has time. Throws it down the sidelines. And it is caught by Dwyer. Coverage by Barnett. behind him, the back shoulder throw, and Dwyer is able to make the grab.
And that is quintessential Ben Roethlisberger. Nobody in the league does it as well as he does. He stands back there and extends the play and throws this out there. Great throw and catch. Barnett right with the receiver. But Roethlisberger just throws it up and comes down.
Can't cover many
Complete.
better than that. 30 yards on the play. Roethlisberger. Over the middle. That one is complete to Kachary.
And you can see how the momentum is shifted now with that one big play. Now the Steelers' fangs are out, and they're going to try and go for points here and go into halftime with a 7-point or at least a 3-point lead. Another 12 yards or 13 yards, and they'll be well within the field goal range.
Zipped outside to Dwyer. Gilmore missed him initially, and Dwyer gets knocked out of bounds, which will stop the clock with 54 seconds to go.
And you hear now the Bills get a chance to run in 4 fresh pass rushers. Those guys we've been talking around a lot. And this is where the depth of the Bills' defensive line should show through. 4 fresh pass rushers. We'll see if things change up front.
Kachary again gets inside position on McKelvin. Another first down, and the Steelers are in a hurry up.
I think it might clock this. Nope.
They faked that clock, and the ball came out for Sanders, and I think he expected it to be clocked.
Yeah.
Roethlisberger tried to steal one, a quick out there.
Yeah, he did.
Incomplete, 36 seconds to
Tried
go.
to get 5 yards and a clock stoppage.
Steelers with 1 timeout left.
Here you see Spencer Johnson, Dwan Edwards, Kyle Moore in the game to rush the passer, along with Jerron Gilbert.
Fresh front 4 for the Bills. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger completes it to the outside to Emmanuel Sanders. Gain of 13 on that play, and they get the clock stopped.
30 seconds left, and the pressure is just not there for Buffalo, and Roethlisberger is picking the defense apart.
Expect Wannstedt to dial up a blitz here.
He may be under orders not to.
Only a 4-man rush. Quick dump outside to Miller, and Miller is forced out of bounds by Brian Scott.
Yeah, and the Bills are only rushing 4 guys. They have not brought any pressure, but they run the other 4 defensive linemen right back on the field. There's Mario Williams, Kyle Williams, Darius, and Kelsey, the front 4 back on the field. Fresh legs once again for the Bills. We'll see if it makes a difference.
Pressure on Roethlisberger. He scrambles, fakes the toss, slides in at the 5. They mark him at the 6. And Pittsburgh takes a timeout with 17 seconds to go.
And that's a smart play by a veteran quarterback. This guy hasn't won 2 Super Bowls for no reason. Perfect play. Come in, slide, get the first down, stop it with a quick timeout. Great clock management. And this is, let's not forget, this is a 99-yard drive they're on. Inside of 2 minutes.
Yeah, all by that 30-yard pass on the 3rd and long.
On the 3rd and long to get it started, and then they started completing some passes. I think the Bills defense, you can imagine, had a little bit of an emotional letdown, letting them out of that deep hole where they almost had a safety on the first play of the drive, and then it ended up giving up that 3rd down conversion, and then the Bills never took a deep breath after that. Now they're looking at each other wondering what's going on. And the Steelers used the momentum.
And you were right, Steve. That was all Ben Roethlisberger throwing the back shoulder pass to Dwyer. I mean, Barnett had perfect coverage on that thing. There's nothing he could have done.
That's right. And then he made a couple of other throws as well.
They put another second back on the clock. 18 seconds to go. Pittsburgh with no timeouts. Going to have to throw it into the end zone. Roethlisberger with time. Touchdown Steelers. Little swirl route by Antonio Brown. Took it inside, stuck it, worked it back outside.
Stephon Gilmore got hurt on that play. At least I think it's him. He's in coverage, as you'll see it. He looks like right there, Gilmore stays down. He's still down. Now the training staff is out attending to him. Don't know what happened. Oh, he's cramping up, yeah.
Well, that's good news.
He's just getting a cramp. And you can tell, both you and I are looking at, we've been there.
Yeah. It's good news for us.
Good news, yeah.
But not for him. That thing's hurt.
Right at the top, you see him as he comes back out. He slips a little bit and
a little whip route.
And just as he probably starts to get up, right there, his hamstring starts to go, and he can't go. And the reason we know that it's a leg cramp is, see, they're grabbing his toes and stretching his calf and massaging his calf. Well, it's what can you say? It's nothing more serious than that, I'm sure.
IV
They'll
at
probably get him
halftime.
an IV at halftime, and he'll be as good as new.
So an 11-play, 98-yard drive officially.
And that drive was a Super Bowl quarterback drive right there. The long conversion to get him out of the hole, and then picking up the pace immediately, going no huddle, running to the line of scrimmage, making sure the Buffalo Bills couldn't gather themselves, because you knew they took that's a punch to the gut for the Bills defense, and he took advantage of it.
And Roethlisberger's been there before and done that before, and the extra point from Schweizen is good, and it's 14-7 Steelers over the Bills, and Roethlisberger 17 of 24 for 168 yards and that 6-yard touchdown to Antonio Brown.
You think 13 seconds left. If you're the Buffalo Bills, you know, I know I'm an old kick coverage guy, but right now I would do one of those funky returns, like the home run throwback, because you want to get something like that on film.
Yeah,
you want to give your guys
somebody
a chance.
else.
Plus you want to get one of those in game situations.
Sure.
And I'm not saying the Bills are going to do that. I don't even know. Well, I'm sure they probably got something like that in their repertoire. But to me, this is the perfect spot to get that on film and to practice it.
Hey, coming up, we'll have our Northtown Automotive halftime show. We'll have the Bills focus on Brian Scott, highlights and analysis, and then Mike with Coach Gailey. And the kickoff, does it go out of bounds? No, trickles into the end zone where it'll be down, and the clock does not roll. So it'll be a touchback, and it'll be Bills ball 1st and 10 from their own 20.
That was a very good kick by Schweizen.
And the Bills 2012 preseason will wrap up on Thursday, 7 p.m. live from Ford Field in Detroit, the Motor City, as the Bills will visit the Detroit Lions.
When are you getting there?
I'll roll in Wednesday night.
You will roll in Saturday, won't you? The game goes on.
I'll be driving over to that one. Yeah. Make my home in Grand Rapids, Michigan now. Hometown. And Fitz just takes a knee, and the clock will wind down to bring the first half to a close. And it ends up Pittsburgh 14, Buffalo 7, with a nice drive by the Steelers to close that gap and go ahead at the end. We'll take a local timeout, and we'll come back with that Northtown Automotive halftime show. We're back here at Ralph Wilson Stadium in Orchard Park, New York, where the Bills trail Pittsburgh 14-7 at halftime. It's kids' night. A lot of excitement early on. The Bills looked particularly good here, Steve, to start things out. Then a turnover led to 7 Pittsburgh points, and then Ben Roethlisberger was untouchable in that last drive there, the 2-minute type drive at the end of the half.
I think it was a good first half for both clubs. I think Pittsburgh saw some things when they turned up the heat. They executed well and put the damper on the Bills offense. And let's face it, Pittsburgh is a team, particularly with that exotic defense and with Dick LeBeau calling the plays. When they get complicated, you really need a game plan to be successful against them. The Buffalo Bills didn't put in any kind of game plan for the specific things they're seeing against Pittsburgh. They're just kind of winging it, and that's a real issue when you play a team like the Steelers, and that's why the Steelers have been so good for so long. And that's really one of the strengths of the Bills, particularly with their quarterback. We mentioned it in the pregame, Ray. Ryan Fitzpatrick is all about executing a game plan. He knows what you want to do against that team. He knows what's important. His biggest asset is his brain. And in the preseason, you know, you kind of take away some of his weaponry when you don't let him use the full playbook. And there's no question the Bills are a little bit vanilla offensively, even though they were pretty productive at times tonight.
Fitzpatrick was 7 of 18 for 89 yards in the first half. And right now, let's check down on the field. Mike Catalana is with head coach Chan Gailey. Mike?
Coach, your defense was dominating till that last drive. What did you see change?
Well, they made the one big plays, and then one thing that we haven't had all preseason camp is learning to handle our composure. They kind of got rattled and lost their composure a little bit, and that's what we've got to work on. That's a great lesson to learn right there.
Offensively, you wanted to see third down conversions. I know you said that was a key. Was that a problem keeping drives sustained?
There were a couple times it was. We ended up again in 3rd and 10 a couple of times, and now you can't do that. We missed about 2 blocks. To be honest with you, I thought Fitz read really well tonight. He knew what was happening. We're getting him hit too much. That stuff's got to stop.
One last thing. How much are we going to see the starters in the third?
No.
They're done?
Yeah.
Okay. Coach Gailey saying the starters have had enough tonight.
All right, thank you, Mike. You know, you and I talked about it, Steve, the composure situation on defense there when things did get a little carried away there and Roethlisberger started to have some success.
They flinched when the Pittsburgh Steelers picked up that long first down play on a 3rd and 8 in their own 2-yard line. Steelers threw a long pass down the sideline, and that rattled the Bills' defense. They never recovered. That turned into a 99-yard touchdown drive inside of 2 minutes in a half where the Bills had dominated defensively, and all of a sudden they gave up a touchdown.
So as you heard Coach Gailey say, there will be no more starters playing tonight as Swayzem kicks this one deep into the end zone, actually through the uprights, and Vince Young will take the field. It'll be his first look tonight against this Steelers defense. Young played extremely well last week, to the point where you and I, Steve, thought he might have taken over that second backup quarterback position.
Right, I think he really acquitted himself well, and let's face it, the reason they're seeing Vince Young again tonight in the Bills' number 2 spot is because they know Tyler Thigpen extremely well. Chan Gailey has coached him in 2 other spots, and they don't know about Vince Young, and the more they see of him, the better evaluators they can be in picking the guy who's going to back up Ryan Fitzpatrick. And Vince Young, they just don't know enough yet, and they want to find out.
Well, he'll have another chance here, as I believe he might just finish this ball game here tonight, depending on what happens. And the first play of the second half is to Shard Choice off the right side for 5.
And it looks as though the Steelers leave their number 1 defense on the field. The Bills, everybody, the number 2 offense is in, not only Vince Young, but also Sam Young. And you see Dickerson, the fullback, is in. So they've changed the offensive line out as well.
So Choice set in the backfield again. Young pointing something out pre-snap. Play action. And Young throws this, and it's intercepted by Polamalu. He tried to force it into Doran Dickerson. A little too much air under that, and Polamalu got underneath it and intercepts the pass.
Yeah, it was a play-action pass. Young's going to boot out to his right, actually about straight back. He moves to his right and then tries to throw it back across the field. And Polamalu reads the route, knows the pattern, and jumped the ball. And that's just a veteran safety that just doesn't miss a trick. And you would think anybody else, most other safeties, would have followed Vince Young to the right side of the offense and followed his eyes, and then when he looked back, he would have been out of position. Polamalu never took his eyes off where he knew the football was going to go.
Byron Leftwich checks in at quarterback, so Roethlisberger is done for the evening. Dwyer in the backfield. Play action. Leftwich going for all of it, and he gets it. Touchdown to Antonio Brown, a 39-yarder.
And you know, we were just talking about in the booth, for the first play of the preseason, Terrence McGee was on the field, and he just gave up a touchdown. He's been injured, just getting back into his form. Leftwich finds me. You see him trying to undercut it, reaches out and just misses. That's the absolute first play Terrence McGee has seen since last season, and he gave up the touchdown. Well, not the way he wanted to come back.
Needed some help from Searcy, the safety, though. You got to put a little bit of that on him with the ball thrown right down the middle of the field. But nonetheless, the quick turnover and then the touchdown pass, Leftwich to Brown. Extra point is good, and just like that, it's Pittsburgh 21, Buffalo 7. We'll take a local break and bring it back, and we'll see if Vince Young can make up for that bad throw, the interception by Polamalu, leading to the point. 21-7, the Steelers over the Bills. And that is the second touchdown tonight after a Bills turnover. And that 14 points is what the Steelers lead this thing by. Sweezum ready to tee the ball up, kick it off. Back deep for the Bills, Brad Smith and T.J. Graham.
I don't know if you can quantify the reason, but it seems as though every time there's a turnover in a game, there's a big offensive play right behind it.
And teams will go for it, too. After that turnover, you try and catch that defense on their heels. And this one, again, out of the end zone, no return. Touchback. Bills offense will take the field at their own 20-yard line. And Vince Young, let's see how he will react after that interception he threw the last time out. Which, by the way, was a really good play by Troy Polamalu. I mean, I watched him. He had a little flip turn in there, undercut the ball. That was as good as you can get.
Yeah, and he just didn't get caught up with what was going on in the backfield, didn't get caught up with the fact that Young had to avoid pressure, stayed where he was at, and ended up making the play.
He's been there a few times. Joyce in the backfield. Young throws it, connects with T.J. Graham, enough for a first down out to the 31-yard line. A gain of 11 on the play. Well, out-of-town scores are brought to you by Kumho Tire. Get a $50 instant rebate and a free Bills cap when you buy 4 Kumho tires at Dunn Tire. Kumho Tire, the official tire of the Buffalo Bills.
See RG3 and Andrew Luck going at it. St. Louis and Dallas.
That Oakland Lions game, 88-88. That's a barn burner out there.
That was a high-scoring game. I'm thinking.
You're going to let that slide, weren't you?
Yeah, I thought it was me.
You put the glasses on.
I thought it was me. I did have to put my glasses on for that one.
Young's pass intended for Graham. Good coverage on the play. It's incomplete. Well, Vince Young, as we said, Steve, made some big strides last week. What are you looking for out of him this week?
Well, he's got to do the same thing. I mean, he's got to build on it and continue to complete, you know, more passes than he go incomplete. You'd like to see him complete 65% of his passes. You'd like to see him go to a second option and complete that pass. You'd like to see him avoid some pressure and still extend the play and still find a receiver open down the field.
Confusion, and Bills had 2 men moving, and Young takes the timeout to avoid penalty and more confusion. So we will take a network break ourselves with 13-13 to go in the third. It's the Steelers 21, the Bills 7.
Mark, where T.J. Graham is showing what he can do, the third-round draft pick earlier in the preseason, going across the middle, making the nice grab, and then doing what they brought him in to do, going deep. When asked his role on the team, he said, run fast and catch the ball. He has 1 catch tonight. Expect the Bills to take some more shots deep, especially with Vince Young in the game.
Thank you, Mike. Boy, we saw the explosiveness of T.J. Graham last week. That 64-yard hookup from Vince Young on the first play of the second half against the Vikings led to the Bills' touchdown. Play action outside. There's T.J. Graham. A little stiff arm. Bowls over a Steeler defender. Gets 8 on the play. It was McFadden that he basically steamrolled.
Yeah, one of the things about when you get Vince Young in the game, you play to his strengths. He's big arm, great athlete, and you try and give him plays that'll let him do that. And the quick play action is one way and the reason that plays into him is because on a quick route like that, you need a fastball to get out there as fast as you can, because if you lob it out there, the defender will break on it and the receiver will have no time. So the big arm really helps even on those quick routes like the one you just saw.
Steelers bring the blitz. Young scrambles and dives forward and gets the first down, and that's the kind of extra things that VY brings to the table.
Yeah, and that's just awareness of where the sticks are. That's a great play. He dropped back. The pressure was coming. He kept his eyes down. He avoided it. His eyes downfield. You see he steps up, still looking at somebody. Nobody's there. He does the exact right thing. You'd think, though, sometimes when quarterbacks pull it down and run like that, they just missed an open guy. I didn't see anybody open on that play. The exact right thing for Vince Young to do was to try and get the first down on his own, and he just did.
So a new set of downs from the Bills' own 42. Quick snap, Young. Play action. He dumps it down, and it's incomplete. Intended for Martin.
That's the kind of thing that makes you grind your teeth as a head coach. An easy play. Ravel Martin did it exactly right. Ravel Martin goes down on this play. He falls down, makes it look like
block
oh yeah. And then he gets up and runs back out. When he falls down, the defense forgets about it. They can't help it. I mean, it looks like he fell down trying to make a block, and he gets up and comes wide open, and Vince Young can't put the ball on him. That's the inconsistency that you've got to get rid of as a quarterback.
Brings up 2nd and 10. Little draw inside, Choice. Cross midfield, picks up a first down to the Steelers 47-yard line, a gain of 12 on the play.
You talk about Vince Young and the things he does as a quarterback. Great job by Tashard Choice picking and weaving his way through. But Vince Young, is a very high draft pick. He's got a lot of physical ability. Now he's on his 3rd team in the NFL for a reason. The reason is the inconsistency in his ability to find open receivers and make the easy throw every single time. And you saw it a minute ago when he couldn't find the open receiver, couldn't hit the open receiver.
Young pumps, pulls it down, good coverage, nowhere to really throw the football, and he'll get tackled for a loss of a yard on the play.
And that was a quick little hitch, and then they were going to try and take the deep shot, and Vince Young, I think, gave up on that play a little too soon. David Clowney was going down the far side and actually came open, and Vince Young, by the time he came open, had given up on the play and ducked it down trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, if he'd have gotten through there, though, there was a wide open hole in the middle of the field. He might still be running. Choice shifts out of the backfield. It's empty. Blitz comes. It's picked up. There's a nice little underneath pass to Clowney. Very close to a first down. Then mark him a yard short. Gain of 9 on the play.
And that was well picked up by the offensive line up front. 5-man protection, 5-man rush, and Vince Young has time to throw it. That's exactly what you need as an offense. Nobody up front on defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers was winning battle one-on-one, and that ended up in the completion.
Buffalo 3 of 8 on 3rd down conversions. This one a 3rd and 2. Young goes for it all over the top. Good defense. He was looking for Brad Smith, and that one was broken up by Cortez Allen.
Yeah, that would look well covered. Vince Young put some air under it. Looked like he might give it a shot. Brad, it would have taken a great catch. Let's see how close this is. Yeah, right over out top of Allen's head. Brad Smith couldn't gather himself and get up for it.
So Sean Powell will come out and attempt his first punt of the day. See if he can drop one inside the 20. Kicks it down, bounces at the 16. Stays in bounds, down inside the 10.
The market at the 7.
Nice kick there, a 31-yarder, no return. And the Steelers will start their next series backed up. We'll take a local break. It's Pittsburgh 21, Buffalo 7. Buffalo here in the third. Go legit with your fantasy football this season. Only on NFL.com with free live scoring and instant video highlights within seconds of the play action. Getting started is easy. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. First and 10, Steelers from their own 7. Leftwich hands it off to Dwyer. Nowhere to go in the middle of that Bills defensive line. Got some new bodies out there for Buffalo. Spencer Johnson along with Kyle Moore on that play.
Yep. Just simple run inside, trying to get that quick trap play.
And Kyle Moore came off the edge pretty good.
Really Colin pulling from his left guard position over to kick somebody out on the right side and then run behind him, and then Bills had none of it. Good defensive play.
2nd and 9. And Leftwich throws it out. That one is complete. Got Antonio Brown working on Terrence McGee. Picks up the first down.
And this is a back shoulder throw. Leftwich, who many people realize he was a starter for a long period of time in Jacksonville and has a lot of experience and has been a Steeler for 3 years now. So he is well versed in this offense as well. So it's not, you don't have the same kind of backup situation in Pittsburgh that you do in Buffalo. You've got a guy who knows what's going on out there as a backup.
Leftwich forced out of the pocket, throws it back against the grain to Dwyer, and he'll be brought down after a short gain by Delano Howell. We'll send it down to the sidelines. Mike Catalana's got a special guest.
Yeah, we have George Wilson with us. Let's talk about this defense this year. How different is it than what you've been doing the past couple of years?
Oh man, guys are hungry. We have some animals up front on that D-line. You know, as they showed tonight and all preseason, they control that line of scrimmage, and we really do a pretty good job of making our opponents one-dimensional, really stuffing the run good tonight.
Well, let's talk about that. You were dominating, and then they went on that drive. What happened on that drive?
You know, sometimes you need a turnover or some big play to try to get the momentum back in your favor. We turned the ball over on offense, and prior to that turnover, they hadn't crossed the 50-yard line, and so they got the short field. They punched it in to even the score at 7-7, and then we had them backed up on the 1-yard line. You know, we can't allow a team to drive 99 yards, but they did a good job of keeping us off balance, going no huddle, getting out of bounds to stop the clock. So we got to be better at managing that 2-minute situation, keeping them in bounds, and trying to at least get an incompletion so we can stop their momentum moving the ball.
When Chan came out after halftime, he said he thought maybe you guys got rattled a little bit, and he thought it was a good lesson for during the year. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I think what he meant by rattled was just we got knocked off balance, and we wasn't able to get back on track before they scored points. So, you know, it's a big lesson. You know, we can't give up points going into halftime, especially when they're backed up on the 1-yard line. You know, everything was stacked for us to be successful in that drive, but we have to do a better job of holding that field position. When we've had them backed up all game and we've gotten off the field on 3rd down, our offense has done a good job of moving the ball and scoring points.
All right, thanks for your time, George.
No problem.
Well, Kirk Morrison made a huge play to stop that 3rd and short, and a nice punt from the Steelers punter Drew Butler to back the Bills up to their own 3-yard line, a 48-yard kick, no return. We'll take a network timeout as the Bills trail Pittsburgh 24-7. Can Vince Young get a drive?
Back here as the Steelers lead the Bills 21-0. A moment ago, as we were talking to George Wilson, a 3rd down and short play happened, and Kirk Morrison made an outstanding run defense, came right up through, tackle for a loss that set up and really forced the Steelers to punt on a 3rd and less than 1-yard play. Great job by Kirk Morrison.
Antoine Edwards for blowing up the trapper who was supposed to come around, and Char Choice rips off 9 yards on 1st down.
Nice job up front by the Bills offensive line. A couple of times tonight they've got their number 2s in there right now. And the second offensive line moving the guys right off the football. Asper does a nice job, works on the nose tackle, then works back out to the linebacker. Right there you see 63 goes inside, then back outside and seals it up, gives him a chance to get through there. Great job by the number 2 offensive line.
Gave him a first down on that. And Young will hand it to Choice again, and he'll pick up another nice gain. Give him 7 off the right side of that offensive line.
Yeah, Chad Reinhardt does a nice job on that one. The offensive line here, he's going to pull right around. Right here, he's going to pull right out and kick this block, make this block, and Choice is going to come right in behind him. You see there as he picks his way. Now, the block was outside, but when the running back gets the ball in his hands, the coaches will tell you, just go where you want to go. Go where you see it. So he may not follow the guy all the way, but that play was executed perfectly, and Choice's choice turned out to be right.
Choice has 4 carries for 34 yards here tonight. Empty backfield blitz. Young makes a man miss. Flag comes out. Another spin move. He keeps it alive and is forced out of bounds at his own 18-yard line. A loss of 3 on the play.
Yeah, this might be where the number 2 offensive line makes their first mistake.
And if it is, it'll be the first penalty of the evening on the Bills.
Holding. Number 68 on the offense.
Williams on the roster, along with
Kyle, Mario, and
Aaron.
There you go. Johnny White checks into the lineup in the backfield for the first time tonight. White thus far in the preseason, 7 carries, 26 yards. Young with time gets
just got tripped up.
Barely gets back to the line.
Chris Carter for the Steelers just got a piece of his shoelace. Otherwise, Vince Young might have picked that up. You see there, Carter's on his back and reaches up, gets stonewalled. He gets stoned. Nice job by Zebri Sanders, who did a nice job on the block, and because Carter just stuck with it, he got a hand on the foot and made the play. Unbelievable, this game.
Buffalo 3 of 9 on 3rd down conversions. Vince Young doesn't like it, and he uses the second timeout for the Bills here in the second half. We'll take a local break ourselves with 4:13 to go in the third. It's the Steelers 21, Buffalo 7. Ray Bentley alongside Steve Tasker, Mike Catalana on the sidelines, bringing you Buffalo Bills preseason football. Week 3, the Steelers with a 21-7 lead over Buffalo. And the Bills look good here early on tonight. And then a turnover led to Pittsburgh's first touchdown, and then a 2-minute drill drive led expertly by Ben Roethlisberger. Made it 14-7 at the half. And a turnover, an interception by Vince Young led to an Antonio Brown touchdown reception from Byron Leftwich. And that got us to our 21-7 count that we're at right now. 3rd and 18 for Young and company. The blitz comes. They've got a man open on the outside. He completes it to Choice. Choice makes a man miss. He gets the first down. Gain of 19 on the play. That was a heck of a read and a throw by Vince Young.
And it was a very quick decision, and he made the right one. Choice comes out. They leave him wide open, and he makes the guy miss and then bowls his way across the line for the first down. Outstanding conversion by Vince Young. Sees the blitz. Both guys see it. Young lays it out there. Nice touch pass. So many times you see a quarterback, you want to get rid of it so fast. That takes a lot of poise to put a touch pass out there with a rush. coming right into your grill.
Blown coverage by the Steelers. Nobody on choice. Makes a couple guys miss. Picks up the first down. Young zips this one out complete to Brad Smith for a pickup of 4 on the play. And Smith is also a quarterback, so maybe he's got a little vice for Young.
Yeah, he's working exclusively this week at wide receiver. He spent all of training camp taking reps with the quarterbacks, which led a lot of people to speculate his role in a Wildcat sort of personnel formation. He can return punts, return kicks. He can play wide receiver and obviously quarterback. He can play running back. He's got a spot somewhere. It hasn't been determined where it'll be.
Vince Young completes it to T.J. Graham for another first down. Young now 6 of 10 on the night for 58 yards.
Kind of working his wrist like he must have got it banged at some point. Oh, there it is right there. He got a hit right at the end. He tried to throw it and he hit it against the defender. This is T.J. Graham who runs out. Nice hook route. Ball floated on that.
It did.
Yeah, it floated because his hand got hit before he released, and that's why the ball wasn't delivered properly.
So another first down for the Bills. And the flag comes out a little late, and it is a false start on Buffalo. Second penalty of the night for the Bills. And that's on Mark Asper. So that'll make it 1st and 15. And that false start thing is something the Bills have cleaned up from week 1.
Yeah, it is, but I'll tell you, too, it also, Mark, the Bills didn't have a penalty in the first half. Their number ones played the whole first half. Now you've got guys out there maybe thinking a little bit more than they are playing.
Pretty clean game by the Bills starters. First 30 minutes. And Young, back shoulder attempt for Clowney. They weren't on the same page on that one.
Yeah, that wasn't well executed. Vince Young didn't throw it out there in a place where Clowney could get it. Clowney was mistimed on his route. He stopped too late. The ball was, you talk about a back shoulder, that was the backyard. That was way back.
It's the back 40.
Yeah.
2nd and 15. 4 wide receivers in the mix. It's actually a tight end there. Dickerson puts a trips formation to the left side. It's tossed underneath, complete to Brad Smith, and Smith brings it out to the 44-yard line. Gain of 9 on the play.
He's a little shaken up. He's going to have to come out for a minute, which
guys don't wear thigh pads.
Yeah, with Ravel Martin into the game.
Took a shot on the leg there.
And also Naaman Roosevelt comes into the game as well. So he just must have only fell on his right arm, it looks like, perhaps. I don't know. I didn't.
Could be any number of things
in
this game. 3rd down and 4. Bills 40% on 3rd downs, 4 of 10. Nice pass is broken up, intended for Ravel Martin.
No, he called it a completion. Ravel Martin pulled it in.
Did he? Well, I thought.
Yeah, you know what? It's his shoe. His shoe looked like a football. He's got those red and black shoes on, and when his foot came out, I thought it looked like the football, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
I saw what you saw. That's a great catch. We didn't give him the credit because I thought he dropped it.
A great catch and also a nice throw into a tight spot to pick up a 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a great conversion there.
I don't know if I like them red shoes. Confusing. Nice cutback by Choice.
Yeah,
he picks up the first down.
Tashard Choice has played well for the Bills this preseason. I like what I see out of him. He got here to Buffalo last year. He came in at the same time when Freddie Jackson went down with his injury, and he had been with 3 teams last season. He had been with Dallas, Washington, and then came to Buffalo. So you can kind of forgive the guy for being a little bit in over his head in the offense and not being able to do much last year. But I think he's got some talent. I think he's played extremely well. And now with this time that he's spent in training camp, Tashard Choice is starting to make a case for being a guy that can get some time.
So that brings us to the end of the third quarter, with the Bills trailing the Steelers 21-7. We've seen some exciting football tonight. The Bills regulars played extremely well early on. The Pittsburgh Steelers came back a little bit. We'll finish it up after this network break. Fourth quarter underway here on Kids Day at Ralph Wilson Stadium, and stats through three quarters are brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO or visit geico.com.
And the Bills in the midst of a very nice drive here in the third quarter, led by Vince Young.
1st and 10 from the Steelers 31. Young sees the blitz, checks at the line. He'll hand it off, and that is Tashard Choice. His 7th carry on the night, 61 yards on 7 totes and 1 catch for 19 yards for Tashard Choice.
Once again, Tashard Choice following his blockers right up inside. That's Chad Reinhardt pulling across from the right side, kicking the guy out on the left, and Choice following him right through to daylight.
Choice has been impressive tonight. Quick snap, Choice again to the left side. He runs right into Will Allen, the safety, coming up on the play.
Yeah, there was an extra guy over there that time. Choice got the block, but there was 2 guys to be blocked and only 1 blocker. And Allen came up and made this a sure tackle. You can see there 7 carries for 50 yards. That's a pretty good night.
So it brings up a 3rd and 5 now for the Bills, who are 5 of 11, I should say, on 3rd down conversions. That's a marked improvement from the previous 2 weeks. And they go empty backfield. Young throws it right into the hands of Choice, and he can't hang on. So will the Bills go for it here? It looks like they may.
They will, yeah.
I saw the field goal team starting to run on, and they got pulled back.
Lindell and Moorman and Sanborn were coming on to try the field goal trio, the snapper, holder, and kicker, and they got sent back.
So 4th and 5. Choice shifts out to the right. Trips formation there. Empty backfield. Young throws it, and that is broken up, intended for T.J. Graham, and Curtis Brown makes a defensive play. So the ball will turn over on downs after a pretty impressive drive by the Bills. They come up with no points. We'll take a local break. It's Steelers 21, Bills 7. 7 Steelers over the Bills with 13:32 to go. Time for our Snapple Real Fact, and it doesn't get much more real than this, Steve. The roster cut down time.
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road. August 27th. They cut to 75 players on Monday, and then Friday they cut to the 53 guys.
And then that next day, on Saturday, September 1st, at noon, teams can start building their practice squads. Snapple, made from the best stuff on earth. Nice hit in the backfield as Baron Batch is into the ball game. And he gets stopped right away by a blitzing Denoris Searcy. He's 2nd down and 12 now. And we'll take it down to the sidelines, and Mike Catalana has a special guest.
Yeah, Eric Wood with us. Eric, first of all, how you doing? You've been trying to build up your playing time coming into tonight. How you doing physically?
I'm feeling good. Building along great. Fortunately, we haven't had any setbacks, and kind of our plans work great. So hopefully that keeps working well moving forward, and all this patience will pay off.
Talk about the continuity on this line. You've got a rookie at the left tackle. Eric's been in and out of the lineup at the right tackle. How has it worked so far, and how will it be going forward?
Yeah, it's been a challenge. you know, you'd like to have the same 5 guys in there all the time working with the ones, but you know, hopefully kind of like the last couple of years, this will pay off for us in the long run. Getting a lot of guys some experience in the starting lineup, and whether Pierce makes it back for the first game or not, we have a lot of faith in Chris Harrison, really talented tackle.
So tell me where this offense is going into that first game against the Jets. You still got work to do, but it's 3 preseason games in now. Where do you think you are?
We've showed a lot of promise at times, and we've looked terrible at times, and a lot of it comes down to turnovers and penalties. And that's probably a good thing for us, because those are correctable things. Those are stuff you can prevent moving forward. So we got to be a lot sharper, but I'm encouraged about the group we got.
All right, best of luck this year.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Great. Thank you.
Tackle on that 3rd down reverse was made by Terrence McGee, forcing the Steelers to punt this one away. Drew Butler on. Naaman Roosevelt back to return for Buffalo. Roosevelt takes it at his 31. He's got a little room on the outside, up past the 40. Roosevelt out to near midfield. In fact, that's where they will mark him. A 19-yard return for Roosevelt, and the Bills will start in good field position when we return after this local timeout. 21-7 Steelers.
Their roster is guys like Naaman Roosevelt. Last week, 6 receptions for 60 yards. He catches the ball as well as anybody. He's got sure hands. They put him back to return punts as they just did. His future with the Bills may depend on other guys. If TJ Graham is going to be asked to play a lot of wide receiver and Leotis McKelvin gets the nickel back at corner, they may need a guy to carry the bulk of the duties at punt return, which drops it down to Naaman Roosevelt.
That one is picked off by Robert Golden. Vince Young, who threw the interception, makes the tackle as Golden brings it all the way down inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. 2nd pick of the night for Vince Young.
And both times he got undercut on the route. You watch this. Ball comes out on time, and that's the wrong place to throw that football. It was high and behind. It's got to be low and away. Yeah, Vince is not going to let him get away with it. At least he goes over and horse collars him or clotheslines him. But the throw was not good.
So the Steelers will start this drive with Leftwich under center. 1st and goal from the Bills' 8-yard line. Toss to the outside, and Rainey is lit up in the backfield by McGee.
Terrence McGee seen his first action. We talked to Chan Gailey about it, and he said, we're going to let Terrence warm up and watch the first half, and then we want him to get really warm in halftime and then come out and play the entire second half, or at least most of the second half, which he has. Terrence McGee trying to work back into form.
10th year for McGee. Former 4th round back pick. 4th round draft pick, excuse me. That one's complete to Derek Williams, and Williams just waltzes into the end zone. A 10-yard scoring pass from Leftwich to Derek Williams.
Yeah, and that turnovers are always what get you. This score set up by the interception. Just a quick whip screen. Tight end comes out, blocks the cornerback off the man he's supposed to cover, which gives the receiver time to catch the ball in space. And when the field is that short down by the goal line, that's all you need to do to get into the end zone if you can execute it. And the Steelers did a nice job.
Daniel Ratman on to add the extra point. And that kick is good. And now the Steelers, with 21 points coming off of turnovers, take a 28-7 lead over Buffalo with 10:34 to go. We'll take a network timeout and be back with more here in the 4th quarter. And you and I talked about it during the break, Steve. The 3 turnovers, -3 in the turnover battle tonight, and 21 points off of those turnovers.
That's the difference.
You can't win.
You can't win.
You do that.
Yeah, you can't. You're not even supposed to win when you're -2 in the turnover ratio. The Bills are -3, and all 3 of those turnovers, as you said, I mean, one almost led to a touchdown right there when the guy got in. The other one was that they were all in the Buffalo Bills into the football field. Gave Pittsburgh 3 short fields, and they capitalized.
Daniel Ratman to kick off. And that's T.J. Graham. Actually, Marcus Easley will just let that one go into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone. So the Bills, after the touchback, will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. And let's go down to the sidelines and Mike Catalana. Mike?
Guys, you've been talking about the battles, the roster spots, and none is it bigger than at wide receiver. Naaman Roosevelt, mentioned his name a few times, certainly on special teams. And how about a guy like Ruvel Martin? Here's a guy, talk about wanting to be in this league. Division II guy, Saginaw Valley State, played at Amsterdam in NFL Europe. He's played with the Packers, the Rams, the Seahawks. His key to making this team, the reason they brought him here last year, special teams, special teams, special teams. That's going to make the roster calls.
Thank you, Mike. Vince Young still in the ball game. Play action. Lobs this one up, and that one was short, intended for Kamar Aiken.
He got hit again as he released the football. His arm just got hit as it was coming forward, his shoulder from behind, and that's what made that ball come out like a wounded bird. Watch as he steps up.
Yeah, right there, it knocked him off balance.
Yeah, his feet never got set. He kind of threw off one leg, and that's a recipe for disaster.
Yes, it is. That floater was not picked off. So it's 2nd and 10. And Young will hand it off to White. White tries the left side. Flag comes out after a gain of 3.
It's going to be holding against Buffalo.
Holding. Number 66, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat. 2nd down.
Zebri Sanders, 5th round draft pick out of Florida State.
Right there in front of the ball carrier. They must have thought he hauled him down by the. I don't
know. I don't know if his hand got caught up in there or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Flag got thrown nonetheless. 2nd and 20 now. Young misses Aiken again, and that one wasn't very good at all.
I couldn't tell. You said Aiken, and that's where the ball ended up. I don't know that he was actually thrown to Aiken. There
was somebody underneath that
had.
Either way, he missed.
That's how bad. That's how bad that throw was. We'll see Aiken. Here's the ISO on Aiken. He's out there working against McFadden, and I don't know.
So that brings up 3rd and 20 now.
You know, generally speaking, 10 minutes left in the 4th. Vince Young's taking a step backwards tonight.
Couple of interceptions by Young. Here he's hitting the end zone, tries to throw it out. No flag that I see.
Well, Dickerson was in the vicinity, but you're right. He got caught, thought about running, and then thought twice about it and just got rid of it. Backs up to his goal line, sees the pressure, has thoughts about getting rid of it, and I don't know, he must have felt the pressure from behind from Al Woods and got rid of it just in the nick of time.
So Powell will punt from his own end zone. David Gilreath, a rookie out of Wisconsin, back to return, but that one bounces out of bounds and not a bad punt in terms of distance, giving 49 yards on it, and the Steelers will take over possession on their own 42-yard line, and Leftwich comes back out to lead the Pittsburgh offense.
It's Chris White, you see, calling defensive signals. He was 6th round draft pick a year ago.
Nice little hole there for Baron Batch. He makes his way for 10 yards on the play.
Batch does a nice job picking his hole. It looked like it was going to be shut off right at the point of attack, and he just kind of stopped and waited, took a step to the side, and picked his way right through there. It was a nice run by Batch on a play that looked to be well defended.
So Pittsburgh in Buffalo territory at the 48. Another handoff for Batch. He finds another bit of a seam. And he is brought down after a gain of 6 on the play.
These linebackers for the Bills, I think when you get in this running game, these linebackers know at this point they're the guys that are going to have to do be the difference. The defensive line of the Bills up there, where you've got the #2 defensive line out there right now. Your linebackers, and this is where they want to see these guys play. They got to prove that they can make this squad.
Quick throw outside. That one is batted down. Kyle Moore gets the hands up.
Kyle Moore is a 6'6" guy, very long. He's got a lot of length, and when he extends up in the air, he's got a really big wingspan. He's got a real good speed rush. I've been watching him in practice, and the thing about him that I'd like to see him do is have a bigger pass rush repertoire. He's got a very good speed rush off the edge, but if you get a left tackle who's got good feet that can get back, he has little else to go to, and that's the question for him. Can he expand his pass rush ability?
Leftwich connects to Derek Williams, who caught a touchdown previously. Leftwich with just one incomplete pass the entire night, and that was the previous play that was batted down by Kyle Moore.
Yeah, this one he's working against Ron Brooks, who's the 4th-round draft pick this year by the Bills out of LSU.
Never got his head around.
Did not get his head around. I mean, this is a guy, Brooks is a guy who played in every game, 53 games at LSU. And that says a lot about his athletic ability and how much the coaches trusted him.
Where are they deep at corner there? It seems like every year. Leftwich fumbles the snap, bounces right back to him, and he was lumbering there.
There's a veteran there for you.
Get away from it and fall down.
You know what? It's 28-7. I'm going to just go down.
Boy, he was taking on water, wasn't he?
Oh boy, he needed a bigger bucket to bail out of that one.
Remember when his lineman carried him down the field in college?
Yeah,
when he played for Marshall.
Yep.
He could have used an assist on that one.
Well, I'll bet his offensive linemen were faster than he just displayed. He's never been known as the athlete that back there, the running quarterback, and he has a very slow release, but he is one of that. He's a winner.
Yeah.
And the guy gets it done.
Great anticipation is what he has. And tries to stick that one in there, and that one is incomplete, intended for David Gilreath. Good coverage on the play by Ron Brooks.
Trying to go right back at Brooks, the guy that completed one like that on a minute ago. But you saw there, if you watch Leftwich deliver the ball, I mean, he'll pull the ball back, and it starts from way down at his hip and then comes way over the top. I mean, it takes a long time for the ball. Once he decides to throw it, it takes a long time for the ball to be gone. And that's a slow release. Other guys you hear have a quick release. When they decide to throw the football, it takes about 1/10 of a second for it to be out of their hand.
Leftwich 5 of 7 for 105 yards and a pair of touchdown tosses. This one is dropped right in the belly of Marquise Mays.
That was a good throw.
The rookie out of Alabama just can't hang on to it.
Yeah, watch this ball come, a big wind up from Leftwich, puts it right on the money, and you just got to make that catch. You have to make that catch.
So Ratman comes out to attempt a 40-yard field goal. Made a game-winning 22-yarder last week. And this one is good as well, good from 40. And the Steelers extend their lead with 6:45 here to play to 31-7 over the Bills. We'll take a local timeout and be back with more action. And 5 to go, Steelers over the Bills. Is your fantasy football legit? Well, sign up for the official NFL Fantasy Football League only on NFL.com with free live scoring and instant video highlights. Go legit. Sign up for free at NFL.com/fantasy. Ratman has the ball teed up. Back to return, Easley and Graham. And this one goes through DJ Graham's hands and out of the back of the end zone for another touchback. And we'll send it down to the sidelines and Mike Catalana.
You know, fellas, coming into this game after the way Vince Young had played last week, you figure the backup quarterback spot is locked up. And what Chan Gailey has said about Tyler Thigpen is, you know, I know what Tyler can do, and what he lacks is consistency. But that's not what he saw out of Vince Young tonight. And you wonder if after this performance, maybe that battle is still going to go right into the game with Detroit next week.
I think it probably will, Mike. I don't know what you, but Tyler Thigpen doesn't have the upside that Vince Young does because of Vince Young's physical ability. But Thigpen also has a lot more experience in this offense. So it's choose your poison at this point because neither guy has really distinguished themselves.
You know, but Stephen Ray, the question would be, are the mistakes that Vince Young is making based on a lack of knowledge of this offense, or some of them physical, or some of those things that have frustrated teams for years about a guy with immense talent like Vince Young, but it doesn't always show on the field?
Well, we've seen some throws that were off target. He hasn't made what I think maybe bad decisions other than the fact that he made some throws that he couldn't fit in, and there were guys underneath it. He threw a couple of bad picks.
I thought the bad one was the last interception where, I mean, to me it was clear, and he just let that thing go anyway.
So, yeah, you're right. I think Mike's right. I think this decision has yet to be made, particularly after tonight. If you want to talk about consistency, if consistency is what Tyler Thigpen lacks and consistency is what Vince Young has not displayed,
then you have to give it to Young based on the upside that you discussed and the running and playmaking ability and the experience as a winner. I mean, here's a guy that has a 31-19 one-loss record as a starter in his career.
That's right, and I think as a backup, particularly for the Bills, I mean, Fitzpatrick is the guy that's going to take you to where you want to go. If you're going to go to the playoffs, Fitzpatrick's the guy that's going to get you there. If he has to sit down for an extended period, your expectations of your season change anyway. But if he's going to sit down for like the end of if he loses a game, a half a game, if he goes out in the third quarter and he's going to be out for 1 or 2 weeks, I like Vince Young better than Tyler Thigpen because defenses will have a hard time defending his athletic ability. But if you're talking about an 8-game stretch where you need your backup to finish a season,
yeah, short
Tyler
relief.
Tyler Thigpen comes back into the picture for me.
Short relief compared to long relief really is the bottom
That's right.
line. Is Roosevelt made that last grab for the first down. Nowhere to go for Zach Brown. He is hit immediately after the handoff.
Yeah, Keith Williams couldn't get all the way across the formation to pick the guy up, to pick Brown up.
So a loss of 2 on the play. Brings up a 2nd and 12 as the clock winds down under 5 minutes remaining to play.
You see Fitzpatrick watching the offense work with Vince Young at the controls.
Steelers blitz. Young escapes a little bit, enough anyways to throw the ball out of bounds for an incomplete pass.
Yeah, TJ Graham did a nice job running back towards the football, trying to get in the vicinity so it would not be considered intentional grounding, and that's the strength of Vince Young. That should have been a sack, and it wasn't. And it saved about 10 yards of field position. But that's not that big a deal. Yes. That's nice, but
that ain't going to get it all done for you.
That's not what you're needing to happen.
Set up a screen and nowhere to go for Zach Brown as that was sniffed out by Marshall McFadden.
Once again, Keith Williams having a hard time getting out in front of Brown to help him out. And that's, you know, you talk about speed at this level. That's speed for everybody. Your offensive linemen have to be quick enough and agile enough to get out in front of those screen passes to release blockers and do that. And sometimes these young guys who come into this level just can't get that speed to work for them.
Powell's punt, high and short. Bounces and is downed at the 26-yard line for a 39-yard effort.
As this camp comes to a close, you start looking ahead towards the opening month of the schedule. And of course, in New York, home against Kansas City, at Cleveland, in New England coming in, and that's through the month of September.
Here's the second half of the season.
Indianapolis, Jacksonville, St. Louis. Given their records last year, the Bills,
yeah, that could be a nice run there.
It
with
could
Miami.
be a nice run in the second half of the season.
Miami looks to be down a little bit. If you've been watching that, oh, big hit there.
Goodness gracious.
Nice pop. And he loses his helmet. Is Ron Brooks coming up after a 16-yard gain. He just stuck Baron Batch.
Yeah, if you look
right in the chest.
Yeah, we were talking about just as this plays, you'll see the hit right there comes in, and
it's actually Howell who had the bigger hit. Brooks, he kind of suffered from it.
Yeah. Howell laid the big hit in there.
First down on the play. Run off to the left side by Rainey. A flag comes in on the play as Kelton Hurd is in on that tackle along with Howell.
As they sort this penalty out, we can talk about the rest of the division. Bills in the AFC East with New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, New England Patriots. Two of those teams, the Jets and the Dolphins, at different times during this last offseason, they looked like they were a mess. And you see there's the standings from last year. The New York Jets, with the acquisition of Tim Tebow, they were having bench clearing brawls.
Face mask, number 54 on the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Penalty on Kyle Moore.
And you look at those standings from the AFC East a year ago. Miami Dolphins, new head coach, and having trouble finding Tannehill as a rookie quarterback. And then the Jets, who were having bench clearing brawls during training camp. And Tim Tebow controversy has lit a fire under Mark Sanchez to play better. I don't know, but the Dolphins couldn't even find anybody to interview for their head coaching job for a long time, and it looked as though nobody wanted that job. And now, as the season rolls around, things don't look that much better.
Nice cut there. And Rainey shows the speed. He goes into the end zone for the touchdown. 41-yard breakout run by Chris Rainey.
Well blocked up front. Some defenders who just can't get there. Gilbert gets pulled in. They get to the corner because they double team the defensive end. Gives Rainey a lot of room out there to pick his spot. He makes a beautiful cut inside the defensive back, and Howell just can't get over there in time to cut him off, keep him from scoring. And a game that started out when the number ones were playing as a pretty tightly contested contest. 3 turnovers and 21 points plus late touchdowns by the Steelers, and it's out of hand.
Ratman adds the extra point, and it's 38 for Pittsburgh and 7 for Buffalo. And if you look at that score in the paper, you're not going to get a true feel for what happened here tonight.
No, I mean, as a guy who observes this team a lot, it sounds crazy. It doesn't concern me.
Yeah,
because of the number ones that were in there. Fitzpatrick and the offense looked extremely sharp against the Steelers' number 1 defense. The defense of the Buffalo Bills looked very good up until the time they got nicked for a big play on a 99-yard touchdown drive that got it started, and then recovered just before halftime. And in the second half, where the number 2s have played entirely for Buffalo, and then the number 1s for Pittsburgh got another series in. I mean, it just got out of hand. Two interceptions and a fumble, which led to 21 of the points, and then the late touchdowns here by Pittsburgh to kind of pile on that score. I mean, you just don't get a feel for what it was like early in this game when the number ones were playing against the number ones.
And Buffalo dominated the first
They
quarter
really did,
of this
and
game.
that's
There's no doubt. And even the second quarter, it was a fumble by Spiller that led to the first points. As this one is being returned by Marcus Easley, and Easley gets knocked down at the 22-yard line. But then the turnover led to the Steelers' first touchdown, and then the Bills had them backed up at their own 2-yard line to start that drive with under 2 minutes to go.
It's 3rd and 9.
And a great throw from Ben Roethlisberger to Jonathan Dwyer along the sideline, a back shoulder throw. Nick Barnett had great coverage on it. And next thing you know, the Steelers caught fire and drove it down the field for a 14-7 halftime lead.
Yeah, it went from a 3rd and 9 on their own 2-yard line to a 99-yard drive, no huddle inside of 2 minutes. It turned into a huge positive for Pittsburgh, and you and I both credit Ben Roethlisberger for the entire affair.
Young zips it outside, dropped by Easley. It's just getting sloppy now.
Yeah.
Lack of concentration here as the
clock
dwindles.
And that's a throw you got to catch. And then you get, particularly in a game like this where things are going south for you.
Especially if you're fighting for a spot here.
Absolutely. That's a time when you can make
bubble.
something happen and you can come up in a moment like this. It says a little bit more than it does when you're front running.
2nd and 10, Young. Throws this one and it's dropped.
And that ball looked a little bit like it was looped out there. It looked like he was trying to get it over a defender and then squeeze it in, and he actually did it.
That's a pretty good throw.
Aiken kind of mistimed his jump a little bit. He threw it over the linebacker and he fits it in there perfectly. He could pull that in as well.
Yeah, that's back-to-back drops, and that's going to hurt Vince Young. 5 drops on the day for the Bills. So 3rd and 10. And Young does complete this one underneath the Easley, but that was going nowhere.
Pittsburgh does the same thing the Buffalo Bills did all through the first half for Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh drops back into deep coverage. It concedes a short completion and allows them to do that, and tackle them before the first down. And now the Bills will just stay on the field in 4th down as a 2-minute warning comes up. Chan Gailey just telling his guys, you know what, let's see if you can get this. You guys are stinking it up here in the second half. Yeah, you're going to stay out there.
He might change his mind as we hit the 2-minute warning. 38 for the Steelers, 7 for the Bills, 2 minutes to go. We'll take a net winding down. 2 minutes to go in the ball game. 38-7, the Steelers over the Bills. We're looking at a 4th down and 7 here, and Chan Gailey decided to bring the punting team out.
That's right.
Probably a good decision.
Yeah, no question, it's a good decision. Bills with 1 timeout, Steelers with all 3 of theirs.
So Powell will punt this one. David Gilreath at his own 25 to return. He'll let it bounce at the 30, and it rolls out of bounds at the 27-yard line, a 46-yard punt from Sean Powell.
The Steelers kneel down, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they'll hand it off.
Yeah, I think in the preseason, you kind of still want to evaluate people. You're right. I think they might run some plays. I mean, they may not. Considering this is the 3rd preseason game, and they may decide to do that. But I think at the beginning, you want to see these guys play. So let them play all the way to the end.
They will hand it off. And Batch works his way up to the 33-yard line. McKillop in at the bottom of the pile. 3-yard pickup on the play.
And Leftwich, being the experienced guy, we spoke about his experience from Jacksonville now. And in Pittsburgh, just letting the clock run all the way down. They'll snap this with 1 or 2 seconds left on the play clock, and it's at 15 and counting now.
Double tight I formation. Batch off the right side, and McKillop closes in quickly to make the stop. A little pushing going on the field. Gets the whistles from the officials. Bring up a 3rd down and 6. And the Steelers snap it one more time, and that'll be it.
Well, the number ones for the Buffalo Bills seem sharp tonight. I think they're going to be ready to start game planning for the New York Jets on opening weekend. One game left on the docket in Detroit on Thursday night. That play will be the last one of this game. We'll get one last chance for the bottom of the roster to make its case to be part of the roster as the regular season begins, but there's no question the Buffalo Bills and their offense played much better tonight. Their defense showed flashes of very good play. The Steelers, on the other hand, with Ben Roethlisberger, I'll tell you what, it says a lot about a team when the guy that needs to pick you up does just that. Ben Roethlisberger taking to that 99-yard drive just before halftime was the drive statement of the game.
Our final score, 38-7. The Steelers over the Bills. We'll take a network break and bring it back here to the Ralph to wrap.